All right, welcome in everyone to the Black Aces NHL podcast on this special Friday, almost like Christmas Day for all the hockey fans out there, especially if your team made some moves. And boy, oh boy, last Monday when we talked about it could be a busy trade deadline day, I don't know if we expected it to be this busy with all the names moving around. But welcome all in. We got Frank the Tank here. We got Old Man Fred. And I think Finn's going to be joining us a little later. He said he might be a little late today as he had to tuck the little one in. Fussmucker, good to see you. Well, let's start with Old Man Fred. Before we get into the specific of the trades, we're going to give you our report cards. Old Man Fred and I were teachers. We're used to giving out letter grades, A's, B's, F's. Were there enough trades for you in the last few days, Old Man Fred?
I'd say, yeah, there were. I'd say it was very good, right? And I'm sure the boys on TSN were very happy with kind of what went down. So yeah, no, I think it was. You can see who's serious and who isn't, and some who are just plain confusing. And I'm looking at you, New Jersey. So yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there were some common themes involved in a lot of the trades today, and A lot of them that we called on Monday, guys that we thought were locks to move, and other ones that were a little bit, as you said, shocking. And Frank the Tank, I don't know if you were working today or you had a lot of time to keep track of the trades, but your phone must have been, if you had notifications on, going off every few minutes, right? Lots of deals. Oh, I think you're muted. Oh, you're muted. Oh, Frank the Tank is muted. Let's see if we can get him off the mute.
There we
All
go.
right. Sorry, man. So I was going to say I did not have notifications on. I did keep an eye on it. And while we wait for Ryan, I know we're going to talk about the trades that did happen, but I just want to say the trades that did not happen. So Max Pacioretty declined to be traded. He wanted to stick with Washington for the push to the playoffs, and Washington respected that. He has a no movement clause, so they were happy to keep him till the end of the year. It's probably his last year. But the other one that's shocking is Linus Ullmark. Boston and LA had a trade done, signed, sealed, and delivered, and Ullmark turned it down. He said, nope, I don't want to go to LA. I think he likes hugging too much, so I don't think he could find that in LA. So these are the two, because Pacioretty we had called that he was probably going to get traded if he wanted to. But Ullmark, I thought he would be traded, but he refused. I guess he wants to help Boston win the cup, whatever. So that's two blockbusters that did not happen in the last couple of days. So that's something we need to mention because there was plenty of deals that did actually happen. So.
Yeah, Markstrom not getting traded was a little bit of a surprise for me, just because Calgary's getting rid of everyone that matters. And
yeah, but that's the owners. I didn't think the owners would change their minds. I don't know exactly what happened there, but the trade was done. They asked Markstrom to waive his no trade. He did, but then the owner stepped in and overrode Conroy. So either. Apparently, they said, no, we're on a good run, so it's because of Markstrom. And every time they trade a piece, they keep winning. So they might have a point, the owners. It's crazy, man. Add a piece, lose a piece, win. And see, that's been what's been happening with teams trading away their pieces. But it bothers me because I don't like when owners interfere with the hockey personnel. Edmonton knows exactly what happens when that happens. Yakupov. But it's like, and like, how does Markstrom feel now? He goes, he waives his no trade just to be told no. And that's why he talked to journalists. He's pissed. So it's not very good to have somebody pissed in your locker room. So he's probably going to get traded in the summer. But so it is what it is. So, and we had a few huge surprises in the last couple of days. So, like shockers.
Old man Fred, you've been watching. You're a retiree like I am. You have some time on your hands to watch things go down. Over the last few days, now that it's done, is there a team that you're surprised wasn't more active?
Vancouver, I think they went early, and certainly they're quite high up. And
they tried, by the way. They tried,
and I'm sure that's going to be the case, right? So Vancouver surprised me on that side, and I'm sure we'll get to it. But on the other side of being active, Winnipeg was the one that surprised me, and pleasantly so, right? Like I was glad. The peg is really, really trying there. So
finally,
yes,
yeah.
But are you stoked that you got the Legend of Dewar in Toronto?
You were gonna raise that, were you, Frank? Okay, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, we got. I think I've counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we got like 15 different slides up here. So we're going to get started without Finn because we don't even know if he's going to show up. So we'll get on and he'll join us when we can. I'm leaving the Edmonton ones till a little bit later anyway.
What?
So,
Edmonton had trades?
Yeah, I think they were involved in a little bit of.
Not
So
today.
what we're going
Only
to do
yesterday.
is, without discussing it, first of all, we're just going to go around between the three of us and give a letter grade for each trade for each team. And then you guys can give your comments after we give the letter grade. So just a letter grade. First of all, we got Buffalo receiving Zaljalin and a 7th round pick. And Kyle Poso, who's, been a long time Sabre. And I'm wearing the Sabres today because there was one move they made this week that I was really impressed with. I think they made a good deal. Letter grade, Old Man Fred for Buffalo and for Florida with the Poso trade.
You couldn't tell me if Poso has any term. Does he have term?
No.
I'm not sure. We can probably look that up in a second.
Free agent at the end of the year.
Free agent? Then,
Free
okay,
agent? Okay.
So I don't know who this Cali.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, so Buffalo, probably Buffalo gets, they get not much. So I'd say that's probably a D. And Florida is this is a decent player. I'd give a B on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to give a B plus to Florida. I mean, they get a grinder. They get a guy that, could be a playoff, looks like a playoff kind of player, and gives them some more grit and some toughness in the playoffs. And they're not giving up much. It's a conditional 7th pick, and it's a guy that probably might not even make the NHL. So B plus for Florida. Buffalo, well, he was going to be a free agent anyway, so they were going to get nothing for him. Maybe he gave indications he wasn't going to re-sign in Buffalo, or they didn't want him. So, you can't give Buffalo too low of a grade because at least they're getting something. So I'm going to give them a C plus. Frank, how about you?
Pass. It's a consequential. Buffalo did Okposo a favor for his career in Buffalo. For past services, this is ridiculous. So he's going to be a 4th liner coming off. He's insurance in case they get injuries like last year. So that's why they didn't get much. It was a favor. They did a favor to him. They did a favor to Janssen. So hopefully we have bigger trades to grade. This I'm not even going to grade. It's inconsequential. It's not moving the needle for any of the two teams. So it's a favor. Like, thank you very much. Go win a cup, basically. Yeah. By the way, Okposo hasn't played in the playoffs since 2016. So it's not like he's a proven playoff performer. So that's why I'm passing. No grade.
Okay, fair enough. I think it does improve Florida, even if he's a 4th liner. Injuries happen in the playoffs. Guys need to fill in.
He's insurance. Yeah. Okay, so I'll give them a D.
What? A D as in dog?
D as in barely. You're not failing.
Okay, you're treading water in Frank's class right now. Okay, the next one, again, we're going to go through some of the minor ones before Finn gets here. The Chicago Blackhawks get a 5th round pick in return for Beauvillier, who's moved around this year from the island to Vancouver to Chicago and now to Nashville. So, Frank, we'll start with you on this one. Enough to give you a letter grade on this one?
Again, I'll give Chicago a C. And I'll give Nashville C plus. You never know. Beauvillier actually did well in Vancouver last year. I think he got 22 points in 30 some odd games. And then this year the rails came off. So went to Chicago. Didn't click with in Chicago. It's like Crosby at the beginning of his career. Put any player with your superstars and hope it clicks, and it never clicks at the beginning because this kid does things like Sidney does things that nobody did. McDavid does things that nobody did. So Bedard is playing at a level nobody's used to. So it's basically, let's get him and see if he clicks. He didn't. So they got something for it. So in Nashville, he replaces Nashville did like trades out, trades in, so he'll play there. So you never know. So C and C plus.
Okay. Nashville was one of the busier teams in the last 24 hours, making a few deals. I agree. I don't think it's going to move the needle, like you say, too much. The potential, Beauvillier was supposed to be, this all-star player when he was drafted, a lot of potential, and just really hasn't amounted too much. So yeah, I'm going to give them both C plus on that one. Old man Fred?
Yeah, I agree. This would be a third line then, do you think?
Probably third, yeah.
Yeah, he's not a grinder. He doesn't hit to be on the fourth line, so he's a third liner true and true. And by the way, the Canucks got a fifth rounder from Chicago, so they get the fifth.
Okay.
He gets traded for fifths.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, probably. I think both teams it'll be fine. Gives him a little bit of a playoff thing. Maybe he'll, you need your third and fourth liners. So C plus to Nashville and Chicago will give him a C. So
hello, Sean.
Sean, good to see you, Sean. A little bit of hockey talk. And yeah, speaking of Sean Sull, who is from Colorado, this one I put up here. I don't know much about the players. Again, Frank, you tend to know the players more than a lot of us. But because there was a third round pick involved, I think the player going to Colorado must have some value if it's a third rounder. So Frank, start with this one because I'm not familiar with either of these players.
Are you going to put it up?
Yeah, I got to change the slide there, buddy.
You still have Beauvillier. Oh yeah, Trenton. That's the Nashville. So that's why Beauvillier came in. So so Trenton is big time hitter, grit. So he hits like a ton of bricks. So great for Colorado. He's going to be on the third line. And then Hansel is like whatever, it's contract. They each have to have 50 contracts. So you probably the thing here is the third rounder. So Nashville gets a B minus, and Colorado gets a B plus because their lineup really needed some grit. They have nobody that basically hits, and they're a bit like ballerinas, and you saw it. Like Vegas steamrolled all these teams last year, so that's why they got Trenton, and they got another banger. By the way, they got two bangers, Colorado, during the last couple of days. So, and this was Vegas related, because Vegas is a heavy team. So Oilers felt it, Colorado, everybody felt it out west. So yeah, that's so I've known Trenton for a little while, so he's a banger.
Okay, yeah, I can't comment. I can't give a report card grade because I don't know any of these players. Can you give us a comparable, Frank, to Trenton? Is he like a Klim Koskin but better? Like, how would you compare him to another player?
He's better than Kostin, whatever, because he's a regular. Think of him like the fourth line in the Islanders, Tzitzikis, Martin, and Clutterbuck.
Okay.
Doesn't hit as much, but about the same type of production, like 20 points with a ton of hits.
Well, man, Fred, any comment about
No,
this?
I agree. I'm kind of with you. I don't know them, but given what Frank just said, that'll help Colorado quite a bit then. So.
Okay.
And everybody thought he would be on the fourth line, but he's actually playing on the third line. So, surprise.
Okay. Another kind of minor one. We talked about Nashville. Fussmucker says Nashville has a ton of cap forward going into next year. Plus, they can move Saros, I guess, if they want to. They got another goaltender in the wings there, of course, with Askarov. Jason Zucker. Frank, you mentioned on Monday that you thought Jason Zucker would be, I think, a good pickup for some teams. And what surprises me is he only went for a 6th round pick. Maybe it's his wishes, maybe it's contract issue, but I'm going to give Nashville. I'm going to give Nashville a solid B plus. Again, I don't know the contract situation, and Arizona maybe a C. Old man Fred, before we get to Frank, what's your letter grades?
So I'm thinking we're looking at second or third line again for this guy. He's close to 10 goals, 16 assists. Well, Nashville's in, which is good, and they want to stay in. So I'll give a B minus on that one in Arizona. I don't know. Somebody should trade an arena to them as far as I'm concerned. So
Yeah. Come to Quebec.
yeah.
Team Dark Chaos Gaming. Thanks for rating in, and I hope you had a good stream. And thanks for bringing some people over. We are doing the NHL trade deadline show where we're looking at all the trades that happened since Monday on our show. We do a podcast every week. So thanks, Team Dark Chaos Gaming, for bringing your crew over. All right, Frank, again, probably the details of the player, the contract more than old man Fred and I. Your letter grades on this trade.
All right. By the way, Trenton has 171 hits in 3/4 of the season. Just to tell you, he's going to go over 200 hits. So, yes, it's the contract. I don't understand why Arizona needed to dump contracts. But, look, Nashville made a couple of deals out, a couple of deals in. He's going to help. Nashville is not a top-heavy lineup. They have the first line with Forsberg, who's having a great season, but they're pretty deep. So he'll be, depending, probably third line. He does hit. He's got 74. So versatile player. So he's not going to hurt. So I'm going to go C+ for Nashville and F for Arizona. The reason it's only a 6-rounder, there was no salary retention because Nashville had enough money to accept. So that's why when you see with retaining, you get a better pick. But I don't understand why Arizona needed to dump salary, basically. They didn't have to. So basically they gifted this guy to Nashville, basically. So that's why they get an F.
Frank, did you say he's on the last year of a contract, or does he have?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It says he's on the last year.
Okay.
Just one other thing that's interesting, though. So I guess it was just last year, 22-23. He got 27 goals in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah, playing with Gino helps.
Yeah, so I mean, he had a pretty full season at 78 games too. But so maybe, this is could be good for Nashville. It's not a name that I've heard, but I'm not super familiar with playing out east. I guess
He was in Minnesota before Pittsburgh, so
right for a long time. Yeah.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, this seems like a player that could be valuable in a playoff run. Like, why wouldn't Arizona retain some salary in a team like Edmonton or the Rangers or Vancouver?
You dare name Edmonton?
What's that?
You dare name Edmonton? They did nothing.
Yeah. But I mean, you would think that someone would give them a 4th or 3rd round pick to retain some salary. Like, he seems like a valuable piece. Isn't he an asset to a player? Yeah.
Of course. That's why you see Nashville got a C+ and Arizona got an F. But your rallying cry you did, about 2 months ago about Edmonton trading and doing what it had to trade, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Well, you should change allegiance because Vegas did exactly what the Oilers should have done. With no
jumping ahead, Frank. You're getting.
I know,
ahead.
but I'm just saying. You name the Oilers. Don't name the Oilers. Okay, as long as Holland is there, he's sleeping at the wheel. Period. Toronto and the Oilers. The only Canadian team that moved their asses was Winnipeg, as Eric mentioned. Okay, Vancouver tried. They didn't have a backup plan, and Oilers and Toronto, man, disappointment, man, disappointment. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about it because even the trade Oilers did, anyways, we'll get to it. I'm going to try to not jump ahead, but
yeah, I know there's so much to talk about. All right,
it's not going to be a good grade because we're going to do comparison, and if you put up the other trade before we get to the Oilers trade, then all bets are off. I'm going to sell the punchline.
Okay. Well, in the private chat, I think I know which one you're talking about, but in the private chat, maybe put that. We have to take a quick break here. Finn is in the house bringing his young son back from swimming. So we'll bring Finn on after the break. So take 2 minutes, guys. Go refresh the beverages. Happy Friday, trade deadline day. We'll be back in 2 minutes' time. All right, we're back here on trade deadline day. Welcome into the house. Finn is back here. Good to have you here, Finn. How closely were you watching things on the phone and on the radio today while you were working?
I actually wasn't watching it that close. I had some situations happening at work today, so was deep in conversation at work. So I just got to kind of look at the reviews afterwards, but it seems like it was a good deadline.
All right. Well, just to let you know, Finn, what we're doing here, we're going through a lot of the trades since Monday, since our last show, and we're giving letter grades. We're giving it the teacher's report. So A+, B-, whatever you think. We're going to do that for each team. Before we discuss the trade, we're just going to go through and give the letter grades and leave some of the bigger ones to the end. Next up, Frank, I remember you saying on Monday, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Well, I guess the price was good enough. No pun intended.
Jake, I knew it was Jake. I was shocked. Okay. The Oilers offered a 6th-round pick in November because he had a great October, Jake Allen did. And just like they said, Monahan would never get a first. Jake Allen's season was such trash that he's never going to trade this guy. Hughes is stuck with a 3-goalie system for the rest of the year. the way I described it to my friend, because I was at his place this afternoon, I said, "This is can't use. He's got nothing in his hand. He goes like this, and then he tells the other team, 'Let me trade you what's in my hand for your third round pick.'" All right, thanks. Look, nothing. Like, and somebody made an analogy. I think it's Brian Wild. He said, "You see where Kent uses negotiation skills he's acquired by being a player agent is being useful as a GM, because a lot of ex-players, Conroy, that they don't have that skill in negotiations and making trades, etc. So it's like, I don't know how he pulled this off. And it's a conditional third. It could be a second round pick. Think about that. For Jake Allen, if he plays 40 games out of the next 100, because it's true next year, and if next year New Jersey makes the playoff, just makes the playoff, we get a second rounder. Are you kidding me? Wow.
Trade deadline looming. Another forward drops off.
Another forward. Yeah, so I'm shocked. And I'm shocked with the other move that New Jersey made. So they went like, screw the kids.
Okay, what do you give for letter grades there, Frank?
I give Montreal an A++++. Is there a bigger letter than A? What did you do with superstar students? It's they get the highest grade for turning Allen into potentially a second rounder. And New Jersey, it was a mess. They couldn't go continue with the two rookies. So I'm going to give them a B- on this one.
What's the term, Frank, on Allen? How many years left?
Next year, it's it. But that's why they get a B-, because it's Montreal used their last retaining slot. They got 3. They're keeping half the salary. So it's only costing New Jersey $1.9 million. And he's a good veteran. He's a great teammate. So just for that, that's a B-.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm pretty in line with you. I think an A for Montreal, getting potentially a second round pick, and New Jersey. I mean, they wanted to change goalies. They wanted Markstrom. They didn't get him, so we're going to give New Jersey like a B- on this one. Maybe need a little bit too much. Old man Fred.
New Jersey needed a goalie, so there's a B. And after what Frank said, I'll upgrade my mark to a B+ for the old Canadian. So there you go.
Finn.
Yeah, I'll give the Canadians an A, but I'll give New Jersey a C-. I don't think Jake Allen moves the needle enough for them to actually make this trade worth it. So I think New Jersey is just throwing darts at something, hoping something hits, and hopefully salvages their season.
Hey, at least they're throwing darts, man, which is better than some other teams, which we'll get to that. Remain nameless.
We'll get to that, Frank. We'll get to that. Don't you worry. That's going to be some good radio.
Yeah, I gave New Jersey a little bit more just because, like Frank said, he seems to be a good teammate, good experience, leadership, veteran presence, and maybe New Jersey needs that. They got a lot of young kids there. Maybe they need some veteran
Remember
presence.
that. But remember this. When Bennington broke into the league, who was his backup? Jake Allen.
Jake Allen, yeah.
And he's nurtured young goalies in the past. He's done it with Montembeault this year. So this guy, I thought that was the only trade. So I said, okay, they're going to keep one of their 2 rookies and he'll be like the father figure and bring them along. But then they went and screwed that whole plan. But he's a great teammate, and he's a calming influence on whoever's his partner in goal, because St. Louis won the cup. And yes, Bennington was in nets, but Allen really brought him along during that cup run. So,
okay, and we're going to cover this next one, which was kind of a late trade today, but it kind of ties into this one because New Jersey picked up 2 goaltenders. They swapped, both, and they traded Vanacek to San Jose plus a 7th rounder to get Kakkonen, someone that was kind of tied to potentially coming to Edmonton at one point. Obviously he's the future for New Jersey, or that's what they think he's the future, with Jake Allen kind of mentoring him along. I do like this trade for Jersey. I'm going to give them a B plus on this one. San Jose, I'm going to give them, I think they got the worst of the 2 goalies, so I'm going to give them a C on this. Old man Fred?
Yeah, I think Jersey's, doing this now with that Allen thing. As Frank said, that's good. Because this guy's coming from San Jose. He hasn't had a lot of success this year for sure. So B on for Jersey and San Jose. I mean, yeah, they get a goalie back anyway. Give them a C.
Yeah, as Fussmucker says, Kakkonen is a UFA.
I was going to get to it. Fuss, relax. I got you covered, man. I'll set these people straight. These kids.
But we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know if Jersey has, talked to him and said, "Are you willing to sign a contract?" And if you gave him any kind of indication, if they haven't,
I'll wait my turn and I'll sit you all guys up.
Okay, Finn.
Yeah, I don't know. Sure. I don't see Jersey making the playoffs anyway. So, I mean, they're trying. Obviously, they have to try. They have a very good forward group and an good defensive group. So they're trying, but I think it's too little too late. I think they should have made these moves months ago. I'll give the whole trade a C. Just kind of underwhelming trade for me.
Okay, set us straight there, Frank.
All right. So this was a contract dump for Vanacek because, as Fussmucker said, Kakkonen is a free agent at the end of the year. And I think Vanacek, his contract, I'm checking it right now. Yeah, it goes through next year. So New Jersey's plan for next year is to have Allen with either Dawes or Akira Schmidt, one of the 2 kids. So they couldn't have Vanacek around because he's under contract next year. So basically this was, I'll give you my 2-year contract. I'll take Kakkonen. If Kakkonen does well, they keep him. If not, he's a UFA. They get rid of him, and they're not stuck. Still hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you broke up for a little bit, Frank, but you're okay now.
So that's why it's like this. Okay, so this was basically trading 2 years of a goalie contract for this year. So, like Finn says, they both get a good grade because San Jose gets somebody with a heartbeat for next year. Vanacek, who knows? He did well his first year, so it's a good enough gamble. And New Jersey gets the flexibility. If Kakkonen still sucks, they just let him walk away. So I'll give a B- to each team on this.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty. We're pretty much agreement on that one. Well, let's go to Old Man Fred's favorite team. Yeah, Toronto did do something over the last week. Maybe not as much as the Leafs fan would want, but getting Joel Edmondson. So let's start with you, Old Man Fred. You know the player. He played in Montreal, I believe, for a long time. How do you like this as a Leafs fan, giving up a couple picks to get him?
It doesn't solve the problems. Joel Edmondson, I think, is a decent defenseman. I'd probably, just the trade alone, if I'm looking at that, you're picking up. This is a little bit more exciting than the Labushkin one or whatever that we had previous. This is a better pick, I think. So, they probably won't keep him. I would imagine he's on an expiring contract. It's like Shen. Last year they picked up him And he's like, yeah, I'm out of here. So when he got his chance to leave, so I'll give it a B minus. As for the picks, I mean Toronto's going to be screwed for a while now. Most of their money is in those four. I realize that the captain's going to be. I don't know if it's this year though. Maybe it's this year. He's off the books. So
No, next year. Next year.
Next year.
Yeah,
So anyway, yeah, they will. They're going to have to go with those guys. That's just the way it's going to have to be. So for the Capitals to get third and a fifth, and it doesn't look like it's conditional. I don't know. I'd probably give the Capitals. Give them a B minus.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to go. I think more depth on the D core for Toronto, and picks to Toronto. They don't usually mean much anyway to Toronto. They commonly trade away their picks. So I think Toronto solid B plus on there. I think Edmonton's a good ad for them, and Washington gets at least something. So I'm going to give Washington a B. Ben.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, Joel Edmundson, Jesus, is a large individual. So at the very least, it'll make it harder, hopefully, for the opposing forwards to get to Toronto's net. You would hope anyway. And he's, from what I remember in his times in out west here, he was a formidable force. So I give Toronto a B plus, and Capitals couple picks, third round pick. Hopefully something turns into something for them. A B.
I see Boiled Egg in the chat. Boiled Egg is a Washington Capital fan. Do you like this for Washington? Do you think they should have got more? Did they win in this trade? Give us your opinion as a Capital fan, because you follow this team a lot closer than most of us. So how did Washington make out getting a third and a fifth? Frank, the take. Give us your take.
First, real quick, how old is Edmundston?
30.
Oh, you already checked? Because he seems to be a lot older because
he does seem older.
He's only 30, but he's playing like a 35-year-old because of his style of play. But he's a great third pairing. Like old man Fred said, way better than Lyubushkin. And he hits like a Mack truck. So good trade. I'm not going to give B's because they don't move the needle. So I'll give C plus for Toronto, and Capitals got 2 lottery picks. Third round, fifth round. Fifth round is really a lottery pick. So I'll give them a C minus.
And that's next year too, the fifth rounder. So that's a ways away.
Yeah.
Okay, Boston responds, and we're not going to spend much time on this because, again, it doesn't move the needle much, but Finn was mentioning this guy on Monday, so we got to mention him. Boston, the daddy, as I think old man Fred, Toronto's daddy, they make a move and they pick up Pat Maroon, who, again, has won like 3 Stanley Cups in a row or something like that.
We mentioned him, but like Jake Allen, we said, who would trade for this guy?
Well, 6th round conditional pick. I don't know if any of you know what the condition is.
The condition is if he doesn't fall down while he skates, it's a 6th rounder.
Well, so maybe it's worth it for the luck that Finn said that he brings.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Boston picked him up as a lucky charm. That's it. It's like trading for Taylor Hall just before you have your draft lottery that you can win the first overall. That's Pat Maroon. Lucky charm.
Like the Canadian teams putting the loony in the ice, like at the Olympics. It's he's the lucky charm. So
and I've heard that he's coming off of back surgery or something, and so they're worried about him because he's not a very svelte guy, right? He's a big guy. So maybe it'll work out. And yes, I get the lucky charm thing. Certainly didn't work when he was in Edmonton. We didn't win any cups, but afterwards, great. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of a C. There's my C. My C is yeah.
I can't wait for the Maroon Reeves playoff fight, because for sure they're going to be on the ice, eh? Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I think that's the intangible. That's what Maroon offers. Like he's that get in your face and maybe just enough to disrupt Toronto and get them off their game even more.
He's a big guy in front of the net too, right? Like you don't have to skate much to stand in front of the net.
Yeah, but old man Fred, he's got to get to the front of the net before the play's over.
Somebody can push him from behind or something.
Finn, weigh in. You were pushing Pat Maroon last week, so.
Well, yeah, I think he would have been better suited for a team that's not won a cup or doesn't have winners on their team yet. Just because even though he wasn't an integral part to the cups that he won, he was still in the rooms and knows what it takes just by watching, absorbing, and just being there. But Boston's just, I don't know, got them a character guy. I mean, he's always I remember his time here in Edmonton. He was always a joker and wasn't afraid to drop the gloves whenever it needed to happen. So they got themselves a bit of character and a bit of toughness. But I mean, it's Boston. They're already tough and they already have character. So
yeah, I think he replaces Lucic. So
yeah.
Look, Lucic to Maroon. I think Maroon is probably a little bit more useful now in his career, but not like
move, and he can still play. So.
Yeah, so I think it's a good move when you say it's a fourth line Lucic replacement. So it makes sense. So that means Lucic is probably not coming back this year with all his troubles. So it is what it is. So
yeah, okay,
good overall trade for Boston. And whatever Minnesota got, the Toporowski, whatever. Yeah. Minnesota didn't look, they just dumped the contract. That's fine, Yeah.
All right. It makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense, I think, for Boston just to pick up that piece. And man, if Toronto does come across Boston in the playoffs, oh boy, Leafs fans, I feel bad for you because you just
they might in the first round the way they're playing.
Okay, next trade is I knew this guy would get moved, but there was really not a lot of talk about where he was going to get moved. Nothing was definite. So Pop Stongoria in the chat, big fan of the San Jose Sharks, going through some growing pains right now with San Jose. So Pop Stongoria, give us your opinion. What do you think about the return for Duclair? Duclair in a 7th round pick goes to Tampa. Jack Thompson, who I know nothing about, and a 3rd rounder. So again, San Jose, I think it's a win. They build up their draft picks. Not going to do much with them. So I'm going to give San Jose a B+ for what they got. And Tampa Bay, got to give them probably a C+. Another piece to their playoff run. Ben, start us off.
Yeah, I don't know. I always think when teams hold salary from another trade, and it's weird that I don't know. I just always find it weird when a team in a playoff spot wants to be a broker in a trade, and Tampa was that broker a couple of days ago. So again, confusing to me, but with this trade, yeah, I mean, got some more forward depth. Didn't have to give up too much for it. Give it a B all around. San Jose gets another 3rd round pick.
Okay. Oh, man, Fred?
Yeah, I agree. I'd give it a B. I mean, Duclair has shined at times as a scorer. It does give Tampa some. I think Tampa's done. I think their run is over, especially if they're in the wild card situation. But gets Duclair, he gets out of San Jose, which is nice. And for San Jose, they get a fairly decent return. So I'd be it as well.
Played in Florida for a few years, and now goes back to Florida, but for their rival, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Frank, how do you like this trade for Tampa? Is it a good pickup, worth the 3rd rounder?
great pickup for Tampa. 2 years removed from 30 goals. Reclamation project, salary dump from Florida. 16 goals on a shitty San Jose team. So they have nothing to lose here. So I'm even going to go A- for Tampa because the cost was nothing. A lottery pick. And Jack Thompson is actually a good defenseman, doing very well in the AHL, more than half a point per game. So up-and-comer defenseman. So not only a third rounder, which is a lottery pick, but a known quantity. And Jack Thompson is probably a second pair defenseman upside. So not first pair. It's Anthony Declare. No, we're not trading a superstar here, but good two-way, good offense, probably going to top out at 30 points in the NHL, but playing a good 200-foot game. So good pickup for Jack Thompson. Good lottery pick for the third rounder. And Tampa, look, if they get 10 goals from this guy, and who knows where he slots in, the rumors is he's going to be top 6. And Stamkos is going back with Nick Paul on the third line, so they have 3 scoring lines. If that happens, that's going to help Tampa a lot for their playoff run. So, so B+ for Tampa and A- for San Jose. This is a good trade for San Jose. Jack Thompson, I know you guys don't know him, but I knew him, so that's a great trade. Better trade than the trades they made last year, Erik Karlsson. This is a good return. So Greer is either learning on the job, getting smarter, or he just lucked out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, another pickup there for Tampa. Again, they were active at the deadline. All right. We do have our next break coming up. So a little bit of a break here. When we come back, a head scratcher. I looked at it and I thought, this got to be a joke. And I looked at it again. And no, it was official. So we'll talk about that deal that took place today.
I can't wait. Which one?
And then get on to some of the big trades, including Edmonton, Vegas, Calgary, Winnipeg, back in 2 minutes' time.
Let us guess what you're talking about. I have no clue.
Oh, yeah. I wonder.
All right.
All right, we're back. Welcome to the Trade Deadline Black Aces podcast special here on a Friday. Hope your Friday's going well. Hope you're ready for the weekend. And now the head scratcher, especially since we kind of talked about it a little bit. We talked about this player a little bit on Monday.
I'm
That
trying
was
to
my
look.
guess.
I'm trying
that?
My guess was the hockey trade, the only hockey trade of the day.
Oh, he said it wasn't a blockbuster.
No,
So
no.
I'm trying to
this
look.
one-
and
Kuznetsov.
This one
Oh.
here.
Oh,
Especially
I
since he was
was-
just sent down to the minors, wasn't he?
Yeah.
oh yeah. Yeah, he was.
But
Yeah,
they
change
got him on
of scenery.
50%.
Yeah.
What's going on? Kuznetsov, they find a buyer, the Carolina Hurricanes, who are busy this week. And the Capitals get a third-round draft pick, and they're going to retain 50% of their salary. I did not see this one coming. Whoever wants to jump in, I know it's a,
Okay, this was like Allen level surprise that Washington actually found somebody to take this guy. I don't know if they his contract runs for a couple of more years. I don't know if they included the white powder for this guy for the remainder of the contract. If they make them accept this guy, man. But like, come on, man. I was shocked. I don't know. In Brenda Moore, they trust. I guess they think Brenda Moore is going to straighten out this guy because he got caught with the white powder, by the way, on pictures in his hotel room with Samsonov and all that. So, yeah. So kudos. So again, Washington gets to get rid of that contract for that number of years that's left. A plus 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 plus. They actually got a third rounder back for somebody that was worthless, that nobody wanted to touch with a 10-foot pole. And usually that salary retention is a fourth or a fifth. So A plus 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 and Carolina, man.
high risk, high reward.
I wouldn't even call it that.
No,
It's just risk.
it can ruin that room real. And he's on the second line, and Kotkaniemi is now a $4 million left wing on the fourth line. But I'm gonna give it's too much risk, so I'm gonna give a D- to Carolina and prove me wrong. And I don't mind being wrong, but
Okay.
yeah.
Old man Fred.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this was I couldn't have guessed at which one you were talking about, but this one does fall. When I look at Washington retains 50% of the salary, so he's good till next year on salary. Then, so is Washington retaining just this year?
No,
No,
the remainder of the contract. So next year too.
Holy shit! I mean, but still, he's making close to $8. So that's $4 million.
7.8. So that's 3.9 that they're retaining next year.
So I'm thinking, so Carolina, I don't know what they were doing. He's not really, his best year was he's gotten 27 goals. I don't know, and that was years ago, right? Like you mentioned, he was in the AHL now with the Hershey Bears. You know what? I give them a D-. I don't know what they're doing here. And Washington, I'm going to give Washington A+. They got rid of a guy who, and they got a bit of a draft pick. Yeah, they have to pay some of his salary, but what's a buyout? I mean, that's probably what it is. So, yeah. So good on Washington. I think Washington did very well here. So,
Yeah, I see what I don't understand. You guys can help me here because earlier, like last week or the week before, there was it a member from Arizona that did a video of holding some cocaine or something, and that gave
No,
the NHL.
he had a cigar, but on the table there was a credit card with a white line ready to.
No, that's Kuznetsov. Yeah, that's Kuznetsov.
No. This is the Ruziska. He was a Calgary. But on his video, when the camera pans out,
Yeah.
he's got the mirror, he's got the credit card he used to go, and the line is there, and then he puts a cigar or whatever in his mouth. So, but it was on the mirror that they saw the line of cocaine.
So how's this any different? Just because there's no proof of it? How is Kuznetsov any different? Why is he not in the same situation where they just get to get rid of his contract?
Because Kuznetsov had the brains to consume the white powder before the video, before the pictures. So they had suspicion that, the mirror was there, but there was no line. You know what I mean? So it was suppositions, whereas Ruziska the moron didn't take a sniff before he did the video. So it was there.
Okay,
Proof
so it's
was
just more proof, I guess.
Presumption of innocence versus dead ass proof,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, big win for Washington. Washington gets an A+ for me, getting rid of that from their locker room and from their team. And Carolina, I don't know. It sounds like they're desperate to win this year, and they just went all in and took the big risks. And I don't like it for them. I'm going to give them a D. I mean, give them a little bit of credit, I guess, for. No, I can't. I got to give them an F. They got to get an F. Like, I don't give anything for this guy.
Oh, so you don't even think there's any? Okay, an F means there's no chance the gamble pays off. None.
Okay, D. Okay, D. Okay. I'll give it a D. Who did we miss here? Who hasn't weighed in? Finn.
Finn.
Well, it's the same with the Oilers and Perry. The Hurricanes have better hope that they turned over every possible stone that could possibly rear its ugly head during a deep playoff run if something was to come up with this guy. So big risk, and for how he's played the last few years, little reward. So I'll go a D- for the Hurricanes, and an A, I guess, for the Capitals.
You don't like giving pluses, eh, Finn?
He's a hard
Always
teacher.
room for improvement.
He's like meat and potatoes. I don't got pluses.
Wait till the
or minuses.
Oilers will see pluses thrown out like they're candy.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
Let's
get on to some of the bigger names that were moved. So first big name, I consider it a big name, is Alex Wenberg. And the rumors are that he's going to the Rangers. He did go to the Rangers. This wasn't today. I think this was a couple days ago. Seattle gets a second rounder, a fourth rounder. Again, I'm not familiar with his contract, what term is left, but I'm not even going to give a letter grade because I don't know the contract. If he's a UFA after this season, it's a lot to pay for a rental. But if he's got term, then Rangers get at least a BB plus. Let's start.
The term is free agent at the end of the year.
Okay, so I'm going to give the Rangers C plus. And
What's
Seattle, I'm going to give them an A. You get a second round pick for a guy that was probably not willing to sign. Give him an A. Finn.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good trade, but a subtle trade. I don't think it's going to rock the boat too much. And I think New York maybe learned a bit of a lesson last year with adding Tarasenko and Kane. And I think that maybe disrupted their chemistry in their room a little too much. So hopefully this guy can come in and not fly under the radar, but not disrupt the chemistry in the room and give them what they hoped that they could have got from a Kane or a Tarasenko last year. With 50% retained, giving up a second and a fourth, top six forward. I mean, can't complain too much with that. So I give Rangers a B plus for Frank.
He's not a top six.
No,
not in New York.
Zibanejad is the first center. Trocheck is the second center. He's on the third line.
Well, it doesn't mean he can't play wing for a game or two, but
he's a center. He's a center there. He's replacing Kittle, who's injured for the season. Who was a center.
Yeah. Old man Fred, what's your letter grades for this one?
This isn't a name that comes up. This Winberg, he's not one that stands on anything that I'm super familiar with. And then when I look at his stats, I see there's a reason. He's not really he's not much of a playoff performer because he played for Columbus and Seattle. I mean, he was in Florida. So, he hasn't really had a lot of playoff experience. His size is decent, I guess. I mean, he's over 6 feet. Yeah, he just, and Seattle's in our division, right? Like, I mean, so I would think that I would know him somewhat, but he doesn't stand out to me. So to me, it's I don't know, a meh trade. So CC, thanks very much. No C pluses. So
Frank?
Seattle gets A because of the second rounder for Wenberg, which
yeah, pretty good.
old man Fred said it. Rangers, Wenberg is not a fit, not at all in their style of play. He's not a third line center. He won't bring anything to that team, so that's a horrible trade for the Rangers. So they get a D- on this one. I don't get it. It's like he's going to play with Cully, the rookie, and can't remember the winger. Kako, because of the other trade. So yeah, D-. He doesn't fit. They're going to realize real quick he doesn't fit. So
yeah, strange one for New York, getting a player like that.
Yep.
All right, Now let's get on to, we mentioned the Canadian teams, Winnipeg, old man Fred. We're going to start with you on this one. Tyler Toffoli, who, again, played in Calgary recently, went to New Jersey, back in Canada. You like this trade for both teams, one team, or neither team?
You know what? I love it for Winnipeg, so here we go. I don't know. There's a silly show I used to watch. They have a golden buzzer, and it means the guy gets to go through. Here's my golden buzzer for Winnipeg. Boom, just hit it. Way to go. Like, seriously, this is huge for them. To me, it's funny because the guys on TSN today were picking, their top 5 Stanley Cup contenders. And once this trade was made, things started to change a little bit because I was hearing a lot of Edmonton around the 3, 4, 5 mark. And then suddenly Winnipeg started to come. Yeah, there was a couple of homers that picked Toronto and everybody laughed and pointed a finger. But yeah, this is an A+. Way to go, Peg. Hey, that's fantastic. And I'll be cheering for them unless they play the Oilers. But I'll worry about that, later down in playoffs. New Jersey, 3rd round pick. And I know Toffoli liked it in Jersey, so I think he would have probably re-signed. So I give them this is a character guy, I'm going to go, well, they get a 2nd round pick in 2025. So up it a bit. I'll give it a C, I guess, for that. But A+ for Winnipeg.
Yeah, I'm gonna go next because I'm pretty close to you. I'd give Winnipeg an A. They had the guts to go all in, and it didn't cost them a 1st round pick. They were able to give a 2nd next year plus a 3rd. So A+ even for Winnipeg. They are putting their money where their mouth is, unlike some other teams out there, and willing to take these risks. And not even really a risk. I mean, he's a proven player out there, and only giving up 2 picks, no players in return. New Jersey, I'm going to give a C+ at the most because of that 2nd rounder. And like you said, I don't know what the situation is. We're not privy to all the back behind the doors kind of things, whether he wanted to stay, whether he wanted to go out. But yeah, good on Winnipeg. Good job, Finn.
Well, yeah. 2nd and a 3rd for a guy like that sounds really good. Fit into their top 6 seamlessly, I would hope.
Uzbekwa said it. It's Ehlers, Monahan, Toffoli as a 2nd line now in Winnipeg.
Wow.
Yeah, and hopefully he meshes in right away and clicks with the team and makes it worth their while. On paper, I give the Jets an A, and I give New Jersey even an A for getting that return.
Okay, and Frank.
All right, you put it before the other trade, so This is what the fuck were the Oilers fucking doing? All right, the Oilers give a first for a third line C and a fourth line C, and this guy cost a second and a third rounder? Are you kidding me? Like, what the hell were they like? What the hell? What the hell? Toffoli is a proven performer, great teammate. He's gonna adapt Finn because that's what he does. He did it when he went from LA to Vancouver, from Vancouver to Montreal, from Montreal to Calgary, from Calgary to New Jersey, and now to Winnipeg. He adapts. He's a happy-go-lucky guy. He's not an asshole with an attitude. He's gonna adapt seamlessly in Winnipeg. But this was a guy that the Oilers should have gotten for secondary scoring and for cheaper. And it's like, what the hell? A third and a second rounder? They couldn't afford that? Come on, man. I don't get it. So kudos on Winnipeg. So they get A and Jersey UFA second rounder, which pretty, that's a good lottery pick. You have a 10% chance of getting a star and 30% chance of getting an NHL third rounder. So New Jersey, because the season is a waste this year, maximizing assets, so they get B+ on that. So and the Oilers get an F for not getting this guy. It's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. Henrique, he's a third line C, and they're playing him as a second line fucking left wing. His strength is faceoffs. They got a guy who's strong in faceoffs, and then they don't fucking have him taking faceoffs. Like, what the hell, man? What kind of crack are you guys smoking up there, man? It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. It's like,
Okay. Yeah.
getting a football player, getting a running back, a star running back, and then saying, you're going to be a wide receiver, buddy. Woo! It's stupid.
Yeah. All right. Very quickly, Matt Dumba, a guy that was projected to be, again, one of these really good offensive defensemen. He's really tanked over the last couple of years. Didn't really succeed.
Pass.
Yeah.
Pass.
And but you know what? Going to Tampa with a much better roster and only having to give up a 5th round pick, I think that's a huge win for Tampa. I think I'm going to give them, a B+, A-. Coyotes get something at least, so we're going to give them a C+. Then
Dumba sucks. I'll go because I don't want to wait. Dumba sucks. He played with good players, Kaprizov, Zuccarello, and all that, and he sucked last year. He sucked the year before. He sucks this year. He's gonna suck in Tampa. So this is a shitty trade. So 2027. It's like, come on, man. Pretty soon we're gonna trade picks for guys that are not even born yet. Ridiculous trade. Pass.
Is this your first F? Do we have an F from you, Frank? F for Frank?
F. You're going to see this is a ridiculous trade for Tampa. He's going to eat popcorn unless everybody gets injured in Tampa.
Okay. Finn.
It doesn't really move the needle much for me either way. 5th round pick is whatever. You might get something, you might not. Dumba, hey. You might get some play out of him, you might not. So D.
Fred?
Dumba used to be a fairly, like the Minnesota Dumba that I remember was pretty tough. Yeah. But then he certainly has fallen off. So, you know what? And 2027 is a 5th round pick. Like, Jesus, we've gone through some drafts and it's rare that they find anybody. And it's 2027. Like Frank said, I don't even know if the kid's born yet. I'm going to go C, because C to the Lightning and, I don't know, Coyotes, whatever. I'll give at least I got a pick back. So I don't know. What's that? A D, I guess. So there you go.
Yeah, these kids are 13 years old that are going to be in that draft.
Not even in bantams yet. So,
yeah. Okay, let's go on to our neighbors down south here in Alberta, and the Calgary Flames, who had one of the biggest pieces to trade and that was Noah Hannafin. And now we're starting to get into, the Vegas Oilers, rivalry here, and they're probably going to meet up in that first round. But Vegas, watch out! They may take first place now in the division.
Oh
Based
my
on the
God.
moves. You don't think they can catch Vancouver?
No,
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you go to Vegas?
You might have a hard time catching Edmonton. Never mind Vancouver.
No, no kidding. Come on.
Who
cares
I don't know.
about Vegas?
You upgrade some major pieces to the team, and we're going to save the biggest surprise, at least for me, till the end. But again, I think Calgary, Conroy, I don't know what he's doing. Like, I think he could have got more than what he got. These are conditional picks. Philadelphia is in there as well, retaining some salary. So good on Philly. Still in the playoffs, by the way. And Hannafin gets one of the best defensemen available at the trade deadline. So I'm going to give Vegas an A. Philadelphia, sure, you're going to get a B. And Calgary, sorry, you get a C- for this one. All right, old man Fred, go ahead.
D- Calgary. I mean, this kid, he hasn't really done much at all, and he's old. He's 26.
He's 26 years old.
Yeah, but he's played in the Silver Knights. What the hell? Where's his career, for God's sake?
Yeah, he's 26 years old. Like, what the fuck?
Come on, this is crap. So he's played 29 games in the NHL. He's 29. He's 26. Calgary, you suck. So Philadelphia, I guess they get a bit of a thing. Great. First round pick is conditional. Frank, help me out. What's the condition again on the first round pick for Calgary? Any idea?
I can't remember. There's one that's not going to be a first rounder, but I don't know. I don't remember which trade that is.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's conditional, so that tells me something. And
I think the condition was if Vegas wanted to use the 2025 first round pick for something, or was that the other trade they made? There was one for the first round was only a condition it was going to move back a year if they wanted to use that year's first round for another trade. So I don't know if that was this one or a different one.
well, and Hannafin, we know he's a decent.
No, it's top 10
protected. Yeah.
Top 10 protected. Okay, so therefore, yeah,
it's top 10 protected. Yeah,
Okay.
so top 10 protected, and they can trade it away if they want, and then it becomes a 2026.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you. So yeah, I don't think it's very good for Calgary, and for Vegas, I don't know. Vegas, they're sneaky bastards. So whatever, sneaky bastards get a C, I guess, because they're sneaky bastards.
Frank?
Well, I think if you looked at our chat group what I think about this trade.
We know, but the viewers don't know.
Yeah. So Vegas gets an A+.
Oh,
They get a Pietrangelo replacement, first pairing D. Hannafin has over half a point per game in Calgary this year. So the prime of his career, he's mid-20s, 27, I think, or something. So A+. Philadelphia gets a B+, just for getting a fifth-round pick for keeping money just this year. Calgary, man. There's Jay Feaster back in Calgary, man. He sucked in Tampa. He sucked in Calgary. Conroy is not having a good start to his career. I'm sorry. Awful trade. You look at Hampus-Lindholm trade, compare that trade to this trade, and you'll see the difference. So Miromanov is a 26-year-old defenseman who's never cracked the lineup. Cormier was a defensive prospect that could have been had, that wasn't had. Basically, 2025 is a deep draft, contrary to 2024. This year, there's maybe 20 players. After that, it drops off. 2025 looks to be a deep draft. But if Vegas needs to get a rental again next year to win the cup again, they can just tell Calgary, I traded it, so you get 2026, which we don't know yet. Might be a crappy year. It's like, and then even the third rounder is a conditional. So it's like, come on, man. This is a little bit of a joke, but I will give a wrinkle. Hannafin did not have a no movement clause or a no trade clause, but every time a deal was reached, the team that traded for Hannafin contacted his agents to say, will he sign a contract with us? And Hannafin said, nope. And then that scuttled more than one deal that Conroy had. So, like the the Ottawa trade, Tarasenko trade, I think Conroy got screwed because the Hannafin camp just kept saying no until they hit a destination they liked. So Hannafin will re-sign with Vegas, obviously. So maybe I'll give the benefit of the doubt, but there's more than one trade that Conroy sucked at. But apparently that's what happened here. So we got, but Calgary gets a D- only because Hannafin might have been responsible. That saves them from the F, because Miromanov, if you're the next coming of Mike Green, you're not 26 in the AHL. I'm sorry. And then the picks, it's still only 2 picks. Hampus Lindholm got a lot more returns for Anaheim. So, yeah, D- just because they don't get enough because of Hannafin's camp.
Yeah, and so that's a couple guys. What was the name of the guy that went to Dallas a few days before that?
Dallas?
From Calgary.
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 Tanev.
Oh, Tanev.
Tanev, yeah. So apparently the news out here, what I was reading is Edmonton actually had the best offer to Calgary for Tanev. And they were told, no, we don't want to trade with the division rival. And then a few days later, they make this trade to a division rival. So if that is true,
that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying on Monday. Vancouver, Edmonton, and Toronto are going to have to pay an extra tax to get anything out of Calgary.
Yep. They didn't want to trade to the provincial rival.
provincial rival. Okay, Finn, give us your take on this one.
Well, Calgary's been kind of dealing from a position of weakness all year long. Pretty much trading every player that said that they wanted to be traded or weren't going to be signing any deals and didn't voice their opinions of not wanting to stay in Calgary. So they managed to squeeze a first and a third out of there. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the return Trevelyan got for Kachuk last year? In a position of weakness with a player that said, I want to get the hell out of here?
RFA is different than UFA.
Doesn't matter, man.
It does matter.
Oh, yeah?
It does matter.
Okay, so what did Bergevin get for Pacioretty when he was dealing from a position of weakness?
Oh, I don't know, and I don't care. I'm talking about Calgary here.
You're making excuses. That's my point.
I'm not making excuses. There's no excuses being made here. Jesus. First and a third is an okay return for our UFA, I would assume. And Vegas, I think they paid what they should have paid. I don't know.
Well, and if Hannafin handcuffed them by not going to some of these other teams, then you got to give a little bit more leniency to Calgary, because they may have only had 1 or 2 teams that Hannafin was willing to go to. So we don't know the full story.
Yeah, they've been in a position of weakness all year long, and as an Edmonton fan, I've really enjoyed it. But I still think that they made off okay with this trade. So I'd give Calgary a B-, and I give Vegas a B+, and I give Philadelphia a B for getting a pick for holding some salary.
All right, we've got 4 more trades to go, and our last break coming up here. Back in 2 minutes' time. Go refill the beverages. See you in 2. right, we're back for our last segment. A few more trades to go through, and one team we haven't talked about is Ottawa. And last week, Frank said, Ottawa, do not trade Chychrun. Do not trade him. Do not trade him. Well, they listened to you, Frank. They did not trade him, but they did trade a guy on an expiring contract. They retained 50% of his salary, sending him to Florida, 3rd and 4th round pick. And again, anytime you can get a couple decent picks for a guy that wasn't probably going to be there next year, you can't really give him a poor grade. I'll give him maybe a B- to Ottawa. I think a great pickup, another goal scorer to go with Kachuk, to go with Verhaeghe, to go with Reinhardt. Just another offensive.
You still have the Calgary trade on the screen.
Right, there we go. So Tarasenko to Florida. I think it's a win for both teams in the B to C plus kind of range. B, maybe an A- even for Florida, because they're going all in here and they only have to pay half of his salary for the rest of the year. So I think a fair rental price for him. Old man Fred, what do you say about Tarasenko to Florida?
Well, good for Florida, but I don't think it's that high. I wouldn't rate it that high. He's fallen off through the years, right? So, but he is a Stanley Cup winner. Nice to have that. We were talking about Maroon, and he's certainly much more than Maroon. So probably I would go C+ to Florida and Ottawa. He wasn't going to sign anyway, so you got a couple of picks. You know, that's okay. They're a young team. They have to build, so give them a C as well.
Okay, Finn. 24 points, 41 points for Tarasenko in Ottawa so far this year. 17 goals in 57 games. What do you think?
When Tarasenko comes to you and says, I have a no move clause and I only want to be traded to Florida, it kind of forces the hand a little bit here. I wouldn't say Florida's going all in, but when somebody was saying, I only want to be traded to you, you're going to have to throw some picks the other way. So I give Florida an A for being a destination, and I'll give Ottawa a B for at least salvaging something out of it.
Okay, Frank?
His family's in Florida. So that was handcuffed. I won't give Ottawa like Finn a high grade because they gave him a no movement clause on a 1-year deal. So that's their own fault. So it's a shitty trade for Ottawa. They got nothing. They got 2 darts. And old man Fred.
I just want to say it wasn't this management group that gave him the no movement clause.
No, it was the old group, exactly. But you still suffer for it. So old man Fred, the reason, because Ottawa signs this guy for 1 year, $5 million. All right, with the thinking he's going to rebound, right? And we're going to, like with Habs with Monahan, he's going to rebound. We're going to sell him if. Either we make the playoff, that was the plan, or if we don't, at least we'll be able to sell them. So what do? The DJ Smith and the brainchild of coaching, they put him on the 3rd line. Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. 2nd power play, 3rd line. All right. You deserve what you got. Go screw yourself.
Yeah.
Florida, who is Tarasenko playing with? Barkov. Reinhardt, he's on the 1st line. They took Carter Verhaeghe and put him on the 2nd line. You don't think he's going to produce going from the 3rd line in Ottawa without any of their centers because they haven't played together all year? Norris, Pinto, and Stutzle. And now he's going to play with Barkov and Reinhardt, 2 superstars? Yeah. So Florida gets an A. So Finn hit it on the nose. They get an A. He's going to produce. He's going to be with his family. That helps a player's psyche.
Yeah, it does.
When you go home, he goes home. He's at home in Ottawa, but he's not at home because his family's in Florida. So watch out. Great end of the year for Tarasenko. And Ottawa, I won't go D because, like Finn said, previous management and all that, but I'll give them a C because that return sucked. It should have been at least Toffoli type like return. So. And it wasn't. So,
all right, going over tonight's action quickly here. All kind of West Coast games. We got the Coyotes 4-0 over Detroit. Wow, 4-0 for the Coyotes in the 3rd period. The Avalanche.
Yeah, they traded away assets.
Yeah, yeah,
When
and
trade away assets, they freaking win.
yeah. I know. I don't know what's going on there. Cooley, Kerfoot. We got the Wild tied with the Avalanche at 1 in the third period. The Stars 3-0 after the first with the Ducks. Again, the Ducks traded a lot of assets, and they only got 8 shots.
Yeah,
on
but
goal
they
in the
suck.
first.
They can't participate in this theory.
Yeah. And then the Kraken and the Jets. The Jets coming off their pickup of Toffoli, looking to capitalize on that. Okay, let's get on to some of these big names. Gensel rumored on Monday. We're talking about him. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? Vegas seemed like the place that seemed like it was going to be the destination. He goes to Carolina. Again, a little bit of a shocker. I didn't see that on the radar going to Carolina. Let's start with old man Fred on this one. Bunting, you know well, because he played with Toronto, and then all these other things, including a conditional first.
Glenn,
Yep.
you didn't listen to me on Monday?
Did you say you didn't say Carolina?
Yeah, I said Pittsburgh should trade him to Carolina for Necas.
Oh, for Nick Cash. Yeah. Okay. My fault. You did say
Not
that.
my fault. Dubas is a fucking twat. But I had the right team. I just pretended. Go, old man Fred. I'm gonna have a.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Like, I'll say Carolina. This was the one that people wanted. This was the coveted one. That was for forwards anyway. So I'll give Carolina a B on this one. Bunting was never anything really. Didn't do much for me when he played for Toronto. I didn't like him much, to be honest with you, even though he was, he had some popularity there for a while, but he wasn't that great. So, you know what? I think Pittsburgh did well with this, although I gotta say I saw.
You want to know the conditions?
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. The first rounder is only if Carolina makes it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Wow.
And the fifth rounder is only if they win the Stanley Cup Finals this year.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
So now you can say how Pittsburgh did well, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, no, they didn't. I mean, well, I guess Pittsburgh did well in the sense that, no, if you're getting Bunting, you're not doing well. So you got an excellent point. Trust me, if you're getting Bunting, I'm not gonna, give you a parade.
How old is Bunting?
He's not that old, I don't think.
What?
I think he's young. I think Bunting's young.
27, 28?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not young. He's not young. At least
remember, you're talking to old man Fred, I guess. But
all right, shut up for the rest of the segment because I have so much.
So anyway, so there you go. I saw something with Sid Crosby, and they were asking him questions. He looks just devastated, right? So I'm worried about Crosby. I think it's awful. I think Dubas is really one of Frank's favorite general managers with Holland. Ruined it. And so, yeah, sad. Way to go, Pittsburgh. I don't know. Who cares? You're going to be irrelevant pretty soon, and that's really bad. So there you go. That's what I got.
All right. I don't know if Dubas and Bunting have a good friendship or what, but again, I think Carolina, thought they might have had a chance at Elias Pettersson, lost out on that, and went after again. So horrible for Pittsburgh. I know the one Finn or Swede, Koivunen, is having a good season overseas, like a second or third in scoring or something. So I guess there is a little bit of promise in at least one of these guys. But again, it probably won't be a first-round pick.
He's not the one with the promise.
Well, okay, he's not? Who is it?
No. Liga is a shitty fucking league.
Frank, you said you were going to be quiet until it was your turn.
I'm trying, but it's too much.
Let Frank talk.
Right. I'm giving Pittsburgh a D because Frank said you can't give it an F if there's any chance of promise. I'm going to give them a D. Carolina, I think it's an A. They gave up nothing and they improved immensely on this. And Ty Smith, the throw in, had a lot of potential. Was thought to be again one of these draft picks with a good upside. Never really panned out for New Jersey or for Pittsburgh. But A for Carolina on this one, much better than the Kuznetsov trade. And Pittsburgh, yeah, you get a D. You could have done much better with what you got. Finn?
Yeah, I mean, Gensel's a hell of a player, and there is a second round pick that's guaranteed. It becomes a first if they get to the third round, but yeah, Carolina's not really giving up a whole lot of crap, and they got Jake Gensel that could be a really good fit for them. Hopefully he meshes in well and settles in again in the top six. And like I was trying to say a couple weeks ago, Pittsburgh's done. They're time to hit the rebuild switch, or time to hit the switch, time to sell everything off and start over again. And this is not going to help them do it, I don't think. So I'd give Pittsburgh a D, and I'd give Carolina A.
All right, same as me. And okay, Frank, you can time to rant, I guess. Dubas, Pittsburgh.
All right, Dubas and Bunting, man, the love match. He had him in juniors. He had him in Toronto, so that's why he's got him now. He's got a man crush on his little Michael Bunting with the decreasing stats from his rookie year. So 3 years in a row with decreasing stats. Ooh, little emoji with the hearts and the fucking eyeballs. So that's a freaking stupid ask. All right, Carolina went, oh my God, no. So, by the way, I trashed Conroy. Dubas said, hold my beer, man. I'm going to make Conroy look good this trade season with this freaking stupid trade. And on a side note, Sleepy Holland, I'm going to give my first rounder for a third line C and a fourth line C. Give your first rounder for Guenzel. Out of these three prospects, one is in the top five, and Glenn, it's Lucius that has the most upside. The other ones are not even in the top 10 of Carolina's prospect, so they're laughing. You didn't get Morrow, which is top D prospect. Nikishin, another top D prospect. Nadeau, there's like so many prospects that are good. All Edmonton should have done, guaranteed first rounder. Borgo, Holloway, whatever. It's like, it's ridiculous, man. That, like, and they said, oh, the cap. We'll see the next trade. Other teams can make trades with no cap. So no. Oilers dropped the ball because they could have had Guenzel in their top six. That would have been awesome. Anyways, so to go back to this, Ponomarev, bottom six, if he makes the NHL, bottom six. Kovinen, bottom six. Cruz, Lucius is the brother of the Winnipeg guy. The Winnipeg brother is a little bit more upside. He might be middle six at the top end. The first rounder is going to be a second rounder. And then the fifth rounder is going to disappear. Terrible, terrible trade. They got volume, no quality. It's so ridiculous. And they gave Ty Smith. It's like, what the hell? It's like, come on, man. Like, add insult to injury. So, Pittsburgh, you never know. People could, so I can't give them an F, right? Because even the second rounder, like Finn said, it becomes a second rounder that could hit. So D minus. I'm not even go D. I'm gonna go minus. The closest I can go to F, and then Carolina gets the gold star. They got Guenzel. They didn't give any of their top four prospects. Probably give only one of their top 10 prospects. So they got Guenzel for free. Who knows? They might not re-sign him. But that's a great price, even if you don't re-sign him. You gave nothing. Nothing. You don't realize how stacked Carolina's farm system is. And with the Kuznetsov trade that happened also, you have Kotkaniemi on the fourth line as a left wing. Put him in the trade to Pittsburgh. It's 4.1 million salary, way better than freaking Bunting. At least Kotkaniemi has some upside. You know what I mean? It's like I'm flabbergasted. Like Dubas and his fucking sidekick, Jason Spezza, man.
Yeah.
Double, 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 double. So this was flabbergasting. I couldn't believe it. And Carolina's laughing. It doesn't matter if Kuznetsov doesn't work out. Just this trade, they can't lose the trade season. They can't. Okay? They didn't win it because we're going to get to the other trade that made another team win it. But they're in second place, which with this trade. I'm sorry. This was stupid. These are middling prospects at best if they make the NHL, and you can't even get a guaranteed first rounder. I can't, like, winning the Stanley Cup, like, really? It's like, come on, man. Ugh. Anyway.
I was just gonna say Bunting signed until 26 and he's making 4.5.
Yeah.
This is a third, fourth liner, really.
Yeah. Kotkaniemi is 4.1, a little bit longer because he signed for 8 years. So I think he has 6 years left. But still, he's got more upside. He could work out. He could become a Jordan Stahl, whatever, on the third line. Whatever. It's like, and he's way younger than Bunting. He's 22 or 23, and Bunting's 27 or 28, whatever. It's a bad trade. They got volume. So their bottom six, if everybody works out, is going to be great in the after Crosby era. So they're not going to have any top six. They're going to have just bottom six. It's going to look like Montreal in the shitty freaking years where we had no first line center. We didn't have a second line center. We had like just third and fourth liners occupying all four lines. It's going to be bad. So D-, a gold star for Carolina.
All right. Warbot, thanks for coming in with your crew and rating in. And yeah, we haven't talked much Philadelphia Flyers, but we might talk about them at the end a little bit. Still in a playoff spot. So Finn, I know it was a tough day for you because one of the guys speculated to be on the block and maybe making his way back to Edmonton.
Oh my goodness. How many times do I gotta say it? How many times? I only want Eberle back when he's 38 years old and finishing off his career and he can settle in on the third line.
Like Sam Gagner.
Oh. Exactly. He's not a playoff push guy. He can stay over in Seattle.
Yes, he is signed for 2 years, 4.75 average. Yeah, just teasing you here. And, the Oilers did not get Josh Gibson as well. I know he's a franchise goalie. They weren't able to pick him up from Anaheim. John Gibson. Yeah. Josh Gibson's a baseball player. Used to be a baseball player. So Jordan Eberle stays in Seattle, but Edmonton. All right, here comes the debate. Frank, hold it for a while. Let's let the other guys weigh in on this one. We know your
Frank
opinion.
to go first. I want Frank to go first.
Who?
I want Frank to go first.
Oh, you want Frank to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Edmonton gets Adam Henrique, Sam Carrick, Ty Taylor, and a 7th-round pick. Tampa Bay gets 4th-round pick for retaining some salary. Anaheim, a guaranteed first-rounder, and a 5th-round conditional pick. Frank.
Henrique, not even playing center, to his strength. Sam Carrick is exactly what we said they needed. Grit in the bottom six. So Sam Carrick is a good pickup. Ty Taylor is just for the Tampa Bay thing, is unsigned, whatever, and a 7th-round pick. It's because you can't trade now salary retention for future considerations. You have to have an actual asset. So that's why you see all these trades for actual assets. Anaheim, first rounder, cha-ching. Who cares about the condition? So A+ for Anaheim, B for Tampa because they had the cap room with the Sergachev, 9.5 million salary on long-term IR. Edmonton, Sam Carrick was a need, so they get kudos for that. Henrique is, unless they put him in the third line, but now as a left wing, I don't get it. So don't look at your watch. Thanks, Boyle. I'm going to go quick because I already talked about it indirectly. I think that first rounder with what we saw after was wasted. They should have kept it for either Toffoli, Guentzel. They could have had so much more. So I'll give a C minus to Edmonton. They would have gotten a D if they didn't get Sam Carrick, because Sam Carrick is exactly what the sandpaper that Edmonton needed. So too bad he was included with Henrique. And Henrique is supposed to be the prize, but not what Edmonton needed at all. So, so that's my take.
Old man Fred.
I think I'm going to give Anaheim an A for this. They had two guys that were going anyway. So Anaheim does very well. Tampa, I mean, they put their nose in, good for them. And it helped the Oilers, so we'll give Tampa. It's not a bad thing to ever stick your nose in, so let's give them a B minus. And for Edmonton, I wasn't upset by the Henrique thing. I don't think he's terrible. I think he's but Frank, like, in light of what we've seen, Jake Gensel, this does have to come down. You can't say that it was great. So. And also, I agree with Frank. Don't put him on the wing. He's a third line guy. Don't try and do that. And he's good in the face-off circle. So if they use their assets well, and they get that together, I'm going to give Edmonton I'm going to give him a C on this one.
Because the problem I have with Henrique as a left wing, he's not a good guy to go in the corners and retrieve pucks. He's not a tough guy. It's like, I don't know why they're putting him on the ring. Okay, I'm going to shut up again.
Well, I did want to say that Ty Taylor, hey, that's something. That was a deal, because that's from the Southern Professional Hockey League is where he's playing.
The legend of Ty Taylor.
Oh my God. Like, I was like, what is the SPHL? Like Stony Plain Hockey League? No, Southern Professional.
Oh, man, Fred, I have a very serious question for you.
Uh-oh, look out.
How do you rank Soupy versus Ty Taylor in terms of the depth at Edmonton? Who's on top of the other? Ty Taylor or Soupy?
Taylor's younger. And he's a lot cheaper. So there you go.
Well, Edmonton likes their goaltenders named Ty. They used to have one back in the early 2000s. Yeah.
Ty Conklin.
All right, Finn.
Cost
Here
us
we go.
the cup in 06. Anaheim, I'll give them an A for that. Get the first round pick. Can never fault somebody for getting the first round pick.
By the way, would you guys prefer Henrique? I'm sorry, I have to chime in again because this sucks so much. Which would you rather have in Edmonton? Monahan with a first rounder or Henrique?
Henrique.
What?
Yeah.
Monahan has 8 goals in 12 games. But yeah, Henrique, okay.
Continue on, Finn.
Tampa Bay, I'd give them a participation badge for taking the salary and getting the pick. Give them a C plus, B minus, dealer's choice. Edmonton, even though Henrique started as a left winger in the only game that they played since the trade, he spent the entire game going all over the place and finished the game on the third line at center, and will be starting the game tomorrow as a center third liner. So
what happened with McLeod?
Them out all over the place.
What happened with McLeod? Where did McLeod end up here? Because he's the third C in Carrick.
No, McLeod's on the winger with Draisaitl.
Oh, so they switched Henrique and McLeod?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were just testing him out last game, seeing where he would fit, seeing if he had chemistry with anybody. I think he played on every single line that game.
There was no chemistry.
It was obvious he wouldn't fit on the second line his strength is face-offs for fuck's sake. I'm glad.
So he's settling in on the third line, and that's probably where he's going to be until injury happens. And yeah, the other guy,
McLeod is a top 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
but
he is now, I guess.
Yeah. Toffoli, McLeod, Toffoli, Gwenzel, McLeod. Oh,
can somebody mute that guy? Jesus Christ. I didn't want to see the Oilers make a blockbuster trade this deadline. I don't think blockbuster trades pay off as much as everybody hopes they do. I mean, we saw Toronto last year revamp a third of their team.
Paid more,
and they're out in the second. And then you see Florida come in at 8th place, and they make it to the Stanley Cup final. So, and they never made a single move they made a couple of small adjustments at the deadline last year. So
Finn.
I don't think these big moves really move the needle as much as people like. And the guy above me here in the screen, every time we brought up what's his name over in Pittsburgh, now he moved over there. Every time,
brilliant, Glenn.
Every time we brought up Carlson in Pittsburgh not playing well, we heard from Mr. Frank over here about how players take a year to settle into their new team. So going all in at the trade deadline, I think, isn't the smartest move at all the time. So
I'll agree with you there. It rarely pays off. But I'm just going to tell you, they paid more. They made more of a blockbuster for Henrique than Winnipeg did for Toffoli. That's my problem.
We don't know the behind the scenes, though. Maybe Gensel and Toffoli refused to come to Edmonton. We don't know.
Toffoli went to fucking Winnipeg.
Hey.
Come on.
Lovely. It's lovely in the summer.
Apparently, it's more lovely than Edmonton? Really? Come on.
One good week of summer there.
Winnipeg's really nice, actually.
Yeah.
They got
a nice
I've
logo.
been to Winnipeg. I've been to Edmonton. It's not even close. Edmonton wins.
Okay. The only thing we ever win.
Edmonton wins. Frank actually said Edmonton wins in the same sentence. Wow.
I'm right. Like Toffoli really said, I don't want to play with either McDavid or Draisaitl. Give me Monahan. Really?
Well, you just finished saying Monahan's really good, so why wouldn't he pick Monahan?
He's not Draisaitl and McDavid, for fuck's sakes. Come on, man.
Okay, let's move on. We got a couple more. Again, just since we're on Edmonton here, picking up Troy Stetcher for a 4th-round pick. I think this is, this is a good deal. Edmonton gets some depth on D. They only give up a 4th-round pick in 2027. Those 13-year-olds can't wait to go to Arizona.
Didn't Arizona get a 2027 pick for their other player too? They like 2027. Apparently, they scouted the 13 years old and they said, that's going to be a super big time. I predict 13-year-olds are going to become all superstars.
Well, Frank, that there probably won't be in Arizona in 2027. So
No,
they don't care.
Yeah, Kansas City.
Kansas City, Atlanta,
Utah. Yeah, Utah.
Finn, you probably saw Stetcher when he played on Vancouver as well, Arizona. Do you know much about him, Finn, as a defenseman?
He's just a mobile defenseman, bit of a puck mover, not playoff type, hockey type guy, but a depth D nonetheless.
Isn't he a midget?
He's like 5'10". That's what I mean. He's just
he's a midget.
Yeah.
Who does he replace, Finn?
You don't say
he
midget
doesn't replace
anymore.
anybody. He's just in the press box eating popcorn.
I don't give a fuck, old man Fred. He's a midget. He's going to eat popcorn, Glenn. He's not replacing anything. He's going to be buddies with the popcorn vending machine.
He's the 8th defenseman on the Oilers depth chart. So if somebody in the top 6 gets injured, and then Broberg will come in before this guy comes in. So
I would imagine
you need your defensive depth as you're going through the playoffs. So this is just
it's an insurance policy.
Yeah.
And we prefer the word hobbit, Frank. Come on. This is 2024. Hobbit.
I give this trade a nothing because it really doesn't mean nothing. He may never play a game for the Oilers.
I agree. This is a pass also.
Yeah. Okay, the last one, the
blockbuster. The blockbuster.
The blockbuster.
The one that you proved Holland could have done something because these guys, no cap, no nothing, boom! At 3:00.
I think This was the shocker. I did not see this one coming at all, but it was done to the San Jose Sharks. They get David Edstrom and a guaranteed first-round pick. Vegas picks up Hurdle plus 2 third-round picks, including one in 2027, Frank.
Is Hurdle injured?
2027, man. What's going on with
he's on the
2027? We got a third, a fourth, and a fifth rounder in 2027 traded. And by the way, do you remember where I said Hurdle should be traded a couple of months back on our podcast?
Pittsburgh?
Nope.
Rangers?
I want to say Vegas. He wants a pat on the back.
No.
Oh.
It was
Edmonton?
Washington, remember? So Ovi could have a center because Kuznetsov is so shit and Backstrom was injured. I said Washington should get this guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, when I saw this trade, it made me even more frustrated with Edmonton because, and it just made that Henrique trade even worse for me because how do you as Vegas pick up Hannafin? You pick up Hurdle. You have the space for it. I know they're playing that, long-term injury card that Tampa Bay played. Okay, I'm Edmonton. Come on.
I'm telling you, change your allegiance, Glenn, because Vegas.
I want to say, if you consider yourself a Stanley Cup contender, do you really need to mess with perfection?
If you have 20 ounces of gold, don't you want 30 ounces of gold? Like, why not?
The Hurdle is a long-term thing for Vegas, and this contract's going to be terrible for Vegas in a couple of years. So, I mean, he might not even be valuable in this playoff run. He's injured right now. So by the time the playoffs start, he might not even be able to mesh with the team. Never mind make a difference this year. And I don't know. He has 6 more years with the team. The thing I'm surprised about is that San Jose is picking up 17% of the contract for the next 6 years.
That's crazy.
Did San Jose retain, did you say?
Yeah, 17% for the next 6 years after this one.
Okay.
But Hurdle is actually good. That's the thing. Okay, he's 30, and he's actually good. And he's not that great. He can play the wing. He's played the wing when Thornton and Marlowe were in town. So he was like a C left wing. But when Marlowe and Thornton were 1C, 2C, he was a left winger. Left winger. Who played left wing for Draisaitl last game? Oh, yeah, for a first rounder. Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
I wouldn't want this guy in the Oilers. I'll tell you that for free, not for the next 6 years.
At 6-point-something million, way better. Like, this was an untradeable contract for Mike Greer.
Exactly.
I don't know.
So why are we giving Vegas kudos on it if it's an untradeable contract?
For 8.1, but at 6-point-something, Hurdle is a freaking good player. He's only 30 years old. 30.
Yeah, the contract, I see him being shipped out in a couple
Well, this
years.
was also a shocker for me
plus.
because Vegas got third rounders.
Yeah.
But everybody assumed, I saw this breaking live, everybody assumed the third rounders were on the other column on the left. And then people said, what? Wait, whoa, what? Vegas got 2 third rounders? How the hell did they pull that off?
Yeah.
It's like, what? And Edstrom was a first rounder, but I think he was the last pick because that was the Stanley Cup pick. So he's 32nd. And then they have a 2025 first rounder,
Which will be late.
very late. So, and this is exactly like, I don't understand. If I'm in the Vegas locker room, I'm there. Who's going to get flurried this summer? Because they're going to sign Hannafin because Martinez is coming off. His contract is finishing this summer. So that's $5.5 million. So they're going to take that plus there's $4 million extra on the cap. So they're going to take some of that and give like $7 million a year to Hannafin. But then this trade came in and I was like, oh, so they got $6.8 million for this guy for the next 6 years. I'm there. Okay, so Eichel is number 1. Hurdle is number 2. Who's the guy who came with the expansion? He came from Florida. He's on the way out. William Karlsson. He's going to get flurried for sure. Marchessault is going to get flurried. They got to make room for this $6.8 million. But at 6.8, Finn,
No,
it's a good deal.
don't like
He's a
it.
good
Don't like
player.
it. I don't like it.
He's a
Both
good.
of his knees have been injured in his career, and he's injured again. I mean,
I know that's the beauty of it. Like this year, he's on long-term IR, and like old man Fred, he's gonna Undertaker game 1 of the playoff. Man, magically,
yeah, he'll Undertaker game 1 of the playoffs, not having played with any of his teammates and coming off of an injury.
Yeah, but he's a very cerebral player. He'll be able to adapt. He's not a dumb fuck, so he'll be able to adapt.
I'm not as high in this trade as Frank is. I don't like it.
When Vegas kicks Edmonton's ass, you can go. Oh, maybe Vegas,
and it won't be because of Hurdle.
You want to bet?
Yeah, I'll bet.
All right.
Jesus,
Frank, serious question, Frank. Who would you rather have, Sean Monahan or Thomas Hurdle?
Well, considering the contracts and the salary, Monahan for sure. But they both went for a first, while the other one went for 2 firsts. But Enstrom, like I said, was a 32nd overall. But Monahan went for a first, but he's got 8 goals. But he had, I don't know what happened in the last game, 8 goals in 12 games. He's been delivering. He's already up to 20 goals this year. So, and he's actually playing. Hurdle, we don't know when he's going to come back, like Finn said. But I don't care about just this year, man. They have their second line center, and he doesn't have to have the pressure of being the first line center on San Jose. And that liberates you. Don't get the best defensive forwards playing against you, the best defenseman playing against you, and he's going to produce as the second line center because Eichel's going to get all the tough matchups, you know? So it's a great long term, but William Karlsson is gone, you know, and we all know, and it's not just flurried, he's the last one. That's why I call it flurried. But Pacioretty, all these guys, it's like all these guys that wanted to come, and Vegas just, even the coach, man, it's like they fired his ass, and they had to take a cab to leave the freaking rink. So Vegas, no emotions, man. I don't understand why everyone wants to play there because it's the climate, whatever, but the team treats its players like shit. So this summer, some people are getting flurried, Pacioretty, whatever else. Heartless, their bottom line. What's best for the bottom line? And Hurdle is going to be a great second line center on the contender. So this is a great
surprise if Vegas traded him this offseason. I don't understand why you're
or
so high
a
on this
chance. By the way, they said that they're expecting him to come back before the playoffs, so we're all kidding with the Undertaker, but he will have maybe 10-ish games to get used to his teammates. So I'm going to give Vegas they got 2/3, man. I got to give them an A because of the two. They got the picks where everybody thought was on the other side, but I'll give San Jose an A++. They don't get the gold star like Carolina, but they were in contention because to take a contract nobody thought you could trade that ran 6 more years at $8.1 million, and to get basically 2 first-rounders, Mike Greer, redemption. He messed up the Erik Karlsson trade, but these two, Duclair and this trade, wow, he learned from his mistakes. And hopefully for Canada, Conroy will learn from his mistakes because Greer made them, corrected. Hopefully Conroy does the same. But A++ for San Jose, and A. This is an AA because they got 2 third-rounders, man. 2 darts.
I can't wait till the Oilers play them and Draisaitl can blow out his knees even more and just dipsy doodle around Hurdle all freaking game long. And
then he's gonna get to the corner and Hannafin's gonna nail fucking McDavid and Draisaitl.
McDavid gets hit every other night. Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Don't forget, they got Hannafin, they got Hurdle. Come on, and Theodore almost didn't play this year, man. Vegas.
Hurdle's advantage to Edmonton.
What?
Fucking Hurdle's advantage to Edmonton.
Okay.
He's
Okay,
not
okay.
keeping up with.
I got to give my opinion on this one, and I don't often agree with Frank, and I don't completely agree on this one, but I do think this is a good trade for both teams. And what upsets me the most is Vegas finds a way. Somehow they find a way to be a Stanley Cup favorite once again. And Edmonton gave up a first-round pick. I'd rather have this package from San Jose than what they got from Anaheim. Because, yes, they do get some cap retention. They would have got some from San Jose. Maybe they could have got a little bit more by adding a little bit more. And they get those 2 third-round picks, which I think is huge because Edmonton next year could give a third-round pick to Arizona for cap retention on Thomas Hertl if they really needed to. Like, that third-round picks for cap retention seemed to be a thing. So they could turn that around and get some retention at some point in time. And who knows, next year, it's Stone this year on long-term. It could be Hertl next year, which opens the door for them to make another similar deal for a cup run next year. So Edmonton could have done a lot better. I'd rather have Hertl than I would the 2 guys that they got. So
look, rank Monahan, Hertl, Henrique.
For how long? Long term or this year?
Just this year. When you want to win the cup, you take this year. Forget that.
Hertl, Monahan slightly under, Henrique a lot further down.
There you go. And they gave Monahan first, Hertl first plus, and Henrique first. Come on.
Yeah. Maybe I've played fantasy hockey too much, and in fantasy hockey, Hertl was always, a pretty good machine in a lot of different stat categories. Again, we don't know how serious the injury is, how long it's going to keep him out. If he even, does come back, is he going to regress and go back on the injury reserve list? We don't know the whole story. I just know the Hertl that I've seen play for the last 5 years, and Edmonton could have done better than what they got, unless the player didn't want to come here. All right, guys, we've been on quite a long time here. What I want to finish off at is this is the current playoff matchup.
Hey, can I just interject something? Because on Monday, I said Vegas would trade for 2 forwards, 1 defenseman. What did they trade for?
About Edmonton, and they got 2 forwards and 1 defenseman.
Yeah, but Vegas actually got good ones.
The talk out of Edmonton is that the leadership core went to Holland and said, we don't want a big room shakeup. We believe we can win with what we have. So fine tunes around the edges is all the leadership core in Edmonton wanted.
And what the Toronto leadership said, we want the war. That's going to be the difference maker.
So
Ken Hall
delivered exactly what the players in Edmonton wanted.
And by the way, and we're losing focus on one team is Vancouver is the biggest loser because we talked about Lindholm not fitting in.
Well, there's another thing. Blow out all your futures for a guy who doesn't fit in, and you've been losing ever since you got him. Like,
yeah. So, but they were supposed to. Yeah, but they were supposed to flip him to Boston. Boston was supposed to send assets to Pittsburgh, and they would send assets. So they were supposed to get Guenzel, but it didn't work out in the end. I don't understand why with the package Carolina gave. Like, give me a break, man. I don't know. I don't get it.
I think there's such thing as doing too much to a team at the trade deadline. If you want to make
no, but Höglander is equivalent to Bunting, but younger, and then give some prospects because Carolina gave shitty prospects. I don't understand why they couldn't. Maybe Boston didn't want to give anything for Lindholm. Who knows? But Vancouver is the biggest loser because they know Lindholm doesn't fit, and they're stuck with him for the rest of the year, and they're going down, man. Too bad for them.
That's a trade deadline deal that everybody would have wanted at that time, and it's not working out.
Exactly, and you never know, but Vancouver's the biggest loser because they couldn't flip Lindholm to Boston and then get Guenzel.
And that is why the Oilers leadership didn't want a big disruption to the chemistry in the locker room.
Yeah, great for them. They're gonna fucking lose because they have no goaltender. Great, awesome.
They got a goaltender. They got 2 goaltenders. What are you talking? Do you even pay attention?
Yeah, AHL. Oh yeah, Ty. Yeah, I forgot Ty. Fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Old man
because he's
Fred.
a roster player. Come on, Frank. Like, let's not be silly here.
Picard sucks. Come on, wake up.
Old man Fred, do you want to start your own podcast?
No, because Ryan is this fucking fanboy where Oilers can never do anything wrong. They're like the best.
Playing this year.
Give me a break.
Have you even bothered to have a look?
Picard is not an NHL goalie, for God's sakes.
He's not. Nobody's expecting him to be. He's a backup.
So
He's played exceptionally well as a backup here.
Oh yeah,
with a winning
well.
record.
Yeah.
What do you want from a backup, Frank?
All right.
Okay,
That's
let's
exactly
rein
what
it
you
in,
don't play
guys. Let's
backups
rein
in
it
the
in.
playoffs.
That we could keep the debate going on all night, but it's Friday. We got to get out of here. Looking at the
I want
playoff
to go
matchups,
clubbing.
as the playoff matches as they stand right now, man, this Winnipeg, Colorado in the first round, Vancouver, Vegas in the first round. We've got Toronto, Boston in the first round, Tampa, Florida. Like, man, oh man, there's always good first round matchups, but I can't remember this many solid matchups in the first round. So
some people are getting screwed in this matchup because the Oilers are facing their nemesis, which is never good.
Yeah. But they don't have to face Todd McClellan coaching, though. They got to get to go against another coach. Okay, very quickly, we did our preseason predictions. Just to recap, I picked Toronto, Edmonton in the final at the beginning of the year. Do you remember, old man Fred, who you picked?
I truly don't. I
think it might have been Toronto, Colorado, maybe, or
I
Toronto,
had
Edmonton.
the Rangers. I thought I had the Rangers, but I don't
Did you? Okay. Finn, do you remember who you had?
Yeah, I had Edmonton, Carolina. And I think
Edmonton,
Fred
Carolina.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
And Frank, who did you have?
Probably Edmonton.
I think he had Calgary, Carolina.
No, I think I had Edmonton. I can't remember out east who I had.
Okay, yeah. There were a lot of Edmonton picks, but let's just pick who we think based on the standings right now, the final four. I'm going to go first. I think it's going to be Dallas playing Winnipeg here. I think it's going to be Vegas playing Edmonton. Then we're going to have Florida and Boston and the Rangers and Carolina on that side. So I think my cup finalists, if I have to pick them now, I think it's going to be Vegas versus Winnipeg in the West. And I think it's going to be Boston versus the Rangers in the East. I'm going to go Boston, Vegas. Boston, Vegas is my pick. Old man Fred, if you had to narrow it down now to final four, who is it based on these standings?
So am I going conference final four? Is that what you're wanting?
Like one from these four, one from each section here.
Okay, fine. So definitely Dallas, and I think Colorado's too strong, unfortunately. So Dallas, Colorado, Vegas, and Oilers. Then I would, if I'm going to go through with that, then I'm going to say it's going to be Dallas against Vegas, and Vegas is going to be in the Stanley Cup final. There's the West.
Okay.
East, we're going to go Boston, Florida, and we're going to go Rangers, Flyers, which is interesting. And then it's going to be Rangers, Florida, and it's going to be Florida versus Vegas, I think.
Rematch. You're going for the rematch.
Yeah, I guess so. And I think it'll be, but I think Florida will win, actually, to be honest with you. So.
Okay. Frank, break it down. What do you think? Start in the West.
Canadian teams are getting screwed. So I think Winnipeg is going to get beat. Dallas is going to win. Nashville's strength is Dallas' strength. Vegas, poor Vancouver. And LA, they're going to lose because the problem is they both have sucky goaltending, but Oilers has the opposite. They have the best player in the world. So I'll take the Oilers, and then they're going to lose against Vegas, and then Vegas. Vegas will lose against Dallas. So Dallas out west.
Wow.
Being bold, baby.
Yeah, good for you.
Dallas in the West and in the East.
And the East, Florida is going to beat. We should do this one at least once a month as everything evolves. That's going to be cool if we do that. Let's do it like early April to see if anything changes. So Florida beats Tampa. Yeah, I know. That's why I boiled egg. That's why, because I think the Islanders are going to make the playoffs. So that's why I want to do this more regularly. Boston is going to beat Toronto. It's not even going to be a series. Rangers luck out because they're going to kick Detroit's ass. No goalies for Detroit, and Shesterkin has righted the ship. For the last 2 months, he's got a goals against average under 2. Carolina against Flyers or Islanders. I don't trust Carolinas, man. I don't trust them. So I'm going to go with whoever's. I think they're going to lose again in the first round. I don't think they have the players to. They don't have a McDavid. They don't have the superstars, that can change. And
But
the
yeah, they got it.
Oilers, Draisaitl is a game changer in the playoffs, and I don't think they have it. And Guentzel, yeah, but it's not going to be enough. So, all right, I'm going to go whoever faces Carolina, but Rangers are going to beat them. Whoever wins that series. Florida is going to beat Boston. Rangers going to beat Florida. Just Bobrovsky runs out of steam. So I think Stanley Cup Finals. After all that, Rangers, Dallas, off the board for both, baby.
Wow, that is off the board.
That is
Okay.
off the board, yeah.
I mean, Dallas has Ottinger, but Winnipeg has Hellebuck. I think a goalie I think it's either Winnipeg or Dallas from that group of 4 that's going to come out of there.
If Winnipeg beats Dallas, it's going to be because of Money Monahan.
Of course, Frank. Okay, Finn, give us your playoff as of now.
Dallas over Preds. Winnipeg. No, Colorado over Winnipeg.
That's tough, eh, Finn? That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Vancouver over Vegas. Edmonton over LA. Panthers over Lightning. Toronto over Boston.
Oh my God.
New York over the Wings. And I think Frank was making all these same things when I picked Vancouver to make the playoffs. I mean, this is serious deja vu here.
What jersey do you want me to pick? Because this has low chances because everything's going to change. But if first round is Vancouver against Vegas, which jersey do you want me to put on during our podcast if Vancouver beats Vegas? Pick one. Anyone.
Toronto.
Ah, fuck. All right.
I have a few if you need to borrow some, Frank. So.
Carolina.
I shall do that, Finn, just for you. I might puke on it during the podcast, but I will do that.
And cancel my last offer then. Okay.
Carolina over Flyers. Rangers over Detroit. And then the semifinal, Dallas over Colorado. Edmonton over Vancouver. Panthers over Toronto again. Carolina over New Jersey. The Rangers. And then the final 4 would be that is the final 4.
Yeah.
And then the final 2, Panthers Panthers
Come
and
on,
Dallas.
say it.
What? Fanboy didn't go for the Oilers?
Good night.
I am
So
shocked.
Dallas Panthers. So the two top teams on the list here. Who's your Stanley Cup winner?
As it stands right now, with how the teams are playing right now, I have Panthers as the winner.
Okay. And old man Fred, you had the Panthers as winning the cup
Yeah,
too, right?
over Vegas. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't
I
pick
got
a Stanley
Vegas
Cup
as the
winner.
cup winner. And Frank, you have Rangers?
Dallas Rangers. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Rangers.
Okay. So a Rangers, a Vegas, Panthers, or two Panthers. All right. Yeah. We'll have to revisit this in a couple weeks and just see how the standings have changed, because right now the standings look like this. It could obviously change a lot. We got Toronto kind of locked in there. No one's going to catch, I think, Toronto there. Tampa Bay's 6 points back. So don't think they're going to be able to catch them.
Islanders,
Flyers,
man. Islanders. 3 games at hand on Tampa. Four points back.
yeah.
It's like they've won what 5 in a row. If you go on the ranked, you get their streaks. So Patrick Roy, man, he put in his system. They're playing with it. The Devils, they traded to Foley, so they just threw in the towel. Washington, I think getting rid of Kuznetsov is actually going to help. I think Ovechkin had the big brother syndrome with Kuznetsov, that he's going to be liberated from the responsibility. Because remember, the clique was Samsonov, Kuznetsov, and Orlov, if you remember him. Those 3 were causing havoc, and Ovechkin had to, the mother running around his kids all the time. And now they're all gone. So Ovi can rest in peace and just start scoring. And then out west, man, Blues, again, making the run. Nashville making a huge run. And then Calgary, I don't understand how they can win. And the salary dump from Vancouver is scoring like at will. So kudos to them. So that's going to be an exciting race out west, because it's anybody's game. Like even Vegas, since 2 months, they're the 25th ranked team in the NHL. 25th. And that's why they were aggressive with Hurdle and Hannafin, because they had to do something. They're 25th. They suck. So we think
What about
Vancouver
Edmonton with that bad goaltending?
What?
What about Edmonton with that bad goaltending? I think they're first in that time frame.
Yeah, they had a 16-game winning streak, which band-aid their needs. But hey, we'll see in the playoffs. But Vegas actually reacts to their needs, contrary to Sleepy Holland. So and the battle for the last place, man. Anaheim just said bye-bye, and it's down to a 2-man race for Macklin Celebrini. So San Jose and Chicago, look at Anaheim, man. They were battling. It was a 3-way battle. They're 12 points ahead.
Yeah.
Anaheim, what? You decide to start winning? And they lost McTavish. They lost a bunch of guys. Again, it's like negation. Yeah, out east, forget it. They're 54, the worst point. So it's 2 teams for Macklin, so to be the worst. And yeah, Chicago, man. Oof. Taylor Hall is coming back. Apparently he's skating. His rebuilt knee is a bionic, man. He's like a robot, I heard today. Somebody describe him. A robot.
All right. And of course, we can't leave without looking at the McDavid race for the Art Ross Trophy. On Monday, we looked and he was a few points back. Now he's 9 points back.
Hey, who won the game of the week?
I didn't figure that out. I figured
okay.
we wouldn't have time for that. So
All
we
right.
didn't do the logo today, and we didn't do the game of the week. We'll do that when we get back.
So
in the
McDavid
week.
is 4 games back and 5 games back with 6 and 9 points. Still
Well, he
gonna
won't-
do it.
He was injured for 2 of those games, so he won't be able to make up 2 of those games.
He'll still do it. I think he'll still do it. And Draisaitl's moved into the top 10 now with 81 points. All right. Well, guys, we're not back on Monday, so we'll be back in just over a week. And it was a lot of trades to talk about, some interesting conversation. Vegas is the wild card. Some people, I still think there's a chance they can finish second.
The thing about Vegas is every year they do this. Every year. And they're like mimicking the city. What do people do in Vegas? They go all in, baby. And like, I don't know. The football team hasn't done that. And then the baseball team is coming, the Oakland A's. Yeah. But Vegas is really adopting the effervescence of Vegas. Every year, we don't care. All in. You realize in their history in the league, there's only one first-round pick because they traded Enstrom and the hurdle trade. There's one first-round pick that they made that's still on the team. One. They don't care. Here, Holland says, "Ooh, I want to keep my first rounder." Vegas, they're like fucking Floyd Mayweather in a freaking titty shop,
So I want to return to titty shop. That was good. That was very good, actually. Wanted to return to you there, Laptop Hound. You're saying that Vegas is going to be number one. So we wrote that down. They're going to surpass Edmonton and Vancouver in your estimation in the next 18 games.
73 points to 89?
Yeah,
are you freaking on drugs?
Yeah, I think he's drinking a Kool-Aid. What he's doing.
I didn't realize Hurdo was injured for a long period of time. I thought he was going to come back in the next week. So I say they finish second. I say they still finish.
They finish first. They catch Vancouver, is what you said.
I know. I wasn't sure about Hurdo. I was wrong. I admit it. I was wrong.
But they have 19 games left. That's 38 points.
Yeah.
They're 16 points behind.
So
they have to win all their games, and Vancouver has to be below 500.
I just said that I think they'll catch Edmonton now. I don't think they'll catch Vancouver. I didn't realize Vancouver was that far ahead.
Yeah, Vancouver, they built in their cushion, so they're still going to be in the playoff, even though they're going to hell. And Finn, you never know, eh? Lindholm could figure it out at one point. He's 18 games in. I always say it's 20 to 30 games before you figure it out. But they have the cushion. But, they could catch the Oilers. But my bet, our game that we played.
Brown can score a goal. Light a fire under his ass.
Yeah, but in our game, fact or fake news, let's all vote. All right, on Glenn's affirmation, I say fake news. Vegas will not catch the Oilers. All right, Finn, what's your vote?
I think they'll have a hard time. Well, I don't know. I think they won't catch the Oilers.
All right, fake news. That's all you have to say.
Well, I think I think Vancouver, Los Angeles, and Vegas are going to be neck and neck until the end.
All right, and old man Fred, fact or fake news?
Fake.
All right, so you're on your own, Glenn.
All right.
You can rub our nose in it.
All right. They're 5 games or 5 points behind Edmonton right now. And right now, again, even Dallas and Colorado are tied. So it could be Dallas versus Winnipeg, I guess. Would it be Dallas, Winnipeg?
Well, can you show that again? Where's Winnipeg in that Dallas and whatever tied? Where's Winnipeg?
Go back to the standings?
Go back to the standings there.
2 points.
So exactly. So, Winnipeg games in hand for
Winnipeg could have the second seed in the out west overall.
So, like I'm hoping for the Peg. Really, I am. So let's hope anyway.
But I've always liked Winnipeg.
Yeah, come on.
Well, they're the ultimate underdog because Winnipeg. Have you been to the city?
I think all 3 of these teams, Winnipeg, Colorado, and Dallas, they want to play Nashville. So they're fighting for first place because you want to play Nashville.
True story. I go for a client meeting in Winnipeg. I'm in the cab. All right. We're driving from the airport to the hotel, which is right by the hockey rink. But we're driving, and I'm used to Vancouver, Edmonton, and all that. And I'm looking. It's during the daytime, and I asked the taxi driver, it's like, when do we see the good neighborhood? And the taxi driver goes, buddy, you're in Winnipeg. There is no good neighborhoods here. So I don't know where the hockey players are. You go, oh yeah, they have their special place, because I go, they're millionaires. They can't live in what I'm seeing, And meanwhile, when you drive from the Vancouver airport, you drive through 10, 15, $20 million homes. Yeah, not in Winnipeg.
Yeah. All right, guys. Again, it's been a blast. Thanks, guys, for hanging in for extra long episode today. Chat, thank you for hanging around with us for a couple hours here. 2.5 hours. We went long, but
it's trade deadline, man. At least we weren't online for like, what was it, 10 hours for TSN and all those folks.
Yeah. TSN and their trade center was on for a lot longer time. Okay, last question. TSN always has the winners and the losers of the trade deadline week, we'll call it, not just today. My winner, Vegas. My loser, Vancouver. Finn?
Loser. Winner, Winnipeg. Loser. Calgary.
Oh man, Fred.
Yeah, winner Winnipeg, and loser. I just like saying I was going to say Vancouver, but I like saying loser Calgary more. So I'm going to go with that. Loser Calgary.
All right, and Frank.
Just because of Hannafin is the first pair D, so I'm going to go Hannafin. So Vegas, but Winnipeg is so close. So Vegas, the winners. Losers. There's so many. I'm going to go with inaction. Toronto, man. They got Lyubushkin, Dewar, and Edmonston. That's basically it, right?
Yeah.
So they're the biggest loser, just like the TV show. But Vancouver was close. Calgary was a disaster, but they were handcuffed. So I'm going to go with Toronto because they had to respond. And they didn't need to respond with the top six. Because Bertuzzi's a flop, so they should have cut their losses and find a way. But winners, Vegas and Winnipeg. Sharks, losers. No, Sharks are not losers, man.
Pittsburgh are losers. There we go.
Pittsburgh Pittsburgh was in the running for Dubas. Ugh. Anyways, but yeah, but I'm gonna go Toronto because Pittsburgh's not in the playoffs. Toronto is in the playoffs. Everybody armed up, and at least I didn't like the Edmonton trade, but at least they made a trade. They sent their first rounder, so I didn't like they could have had better than Henrique. I've been saying the whole podcast, but at least they did something. Toronto didn't. Bottom pair, popcorn eaters. It's like I don't get it. So.
Just a real quick thing, though, just as an observation, we've gone long anyway. Boston really was quiet too, right? Like surprisingly quiet for Boston.
Well, they tried to get Lindholm.
Yeah, they tried to get lots of stuff.
Twice. They tried to get him from Calgary.
Pretty good.
Yeah, they tried to get Lindholm from Calgary, and then they tried to get him from Vancouver, and they're struck out twice.
Twice, yeah.
And they got Pat fucking Maroon, the Lucky Charm.
All they need, baby. That's all they need is that one piece. Chat. We've got to give them some credit. Boiled Egg says the winner was Colorado, the loser Toronto. Plus Mucker saying Colorado wins, Pittsburgh loses.
Well, Colorado was sneaky good, man, with the odds.
Yeah, they were good, Colorado. Yeah.
We didn't even talk about the Byram for Middlestat trade. That
was a shocker that nobody saw coming. Yeah. That was awesome trade because it's two kids and it fills a need as a second line center for Colorado because they were looking. Poor Ryan Johansson, what a death spiral to his career. He's waived now. He's going to play in the American Hockey League. but like they tried, and then Russ Colton was the second line center. He's back to third line center. But yeah, awesome trade. And I thought this was the kiss of death for Byram, but Buffalo is going 2D on their first power play, like old school, three forwards, and
Wow.
Byram is paired with Darlene because they're both left hand. Power is left hand. They have a bunch of left hand, but Darlene is playing on the right, so they're a pair on 5-on-5, and they're a pair on the first power play. So great trade for both. And yeah, surprising trade. Nobody saw it coming. You rarely see kids being traded 1-for-1. So yeah, Colorado, I like the fact they were sneaky good, but still not enough to trump Vegas. I still have Vegas number 1.
Yeah, Buffalo's defense, they've got, man, that young defense, they got some good years ahead.
Yeah,
Of course. Sure. Also Toronto, Connor Dewar.
Dewar, the legend, the difference maker. And Edmonton has their own Stetcher difference maker. So many things. Does anyone know what Ullmark was, what the deal was? Who Boston would have got back? Nobody's ever gonna say anything about that. I wonder, like, what would probably Jordan Spence type thing. Some prospects that are close to the NHL, but nobody on the team. That's for sure. Maybe Kaliev, who's a bust. They're trying to. He could have been a good project for Boston, but this is just speculation. I'm just going with because Kaliev is a change of scenery type trade. So maybe him. That's the only roster guy I can think about. And then Jordan Spence was sent down, right? Because they have to choose between Brant Clark and Jordan Spence on the defense. And you don't choose Jordan Spence over Brant Clark. I know who's going to be a superstar. So maybe Jordan Spence. Who knows? But it doesn't matter. Ullmark said no.
Yeah. Ullmark currently has a 16-team no-trade list. I guess he had as well. So a couple other minor deals. We had Koskin going somewhere. We had Eric Johnson going to the Philadelphia Flyers.
Koskin made a career.
He went to San Jose.
Yeah. Should have took less to stay with the place that he fit.
Damn right. I said, he found a home in Edmonton. He scored 10 goals or whatever. He was hitting. He was fighting.
He's a fan favorite.
Yeah,
love them.
Hitting, fighting, and perfect bottom 6 on that team.
Boston got Andrew Peak from Columbus. They gave up that failure of a first rounder that they had with Jacobs Borrell. So Boston did make a couple other little trades, but nothing.
You remember who they could have had instead of Zabrul?
One of them, they took Jake DeBrusk.
Yeah.
And the other two, because they had 3 picks in a row in the first round.
You remember who they could have had?
Kyle Connor?
Yes. Second one?
Scheifele? No.
He went 16th right after because Connor went 18th. Barzal.
Oh, yeah. The one that Edmonton could have had.
Yeah. Imagine if they had DeBrusk, because let's not. DeBrusk, Barzal, Connor. Yeah. How dominant would have been? Holy mama!
Yeah. Gurianov going to where did he go? To the Flyers, I guess.
Flyers, yeah.
From the Preds. So the Flyers made a few little playoff moves too, some quiet trades. Klim Koskin, from Detroit to San Jose.
Yep.
Yeah. So those were the ones that we didn't quite get to, but not as big as the ones we talked about. All right. Well, we are back on, let me give you a date here, guys.
18th, I think.
18th. Yep. Back on the 18th. The playoffs start, I think, second week in April? So we still got a little bit of time.
1 month, less than a month before the playoffs when we gather again. So should be exciting. Okay. More clarity, but out west, it's still going to be muddled. I think out east, there's going to be one team in the running by the time we reconvene. So.
And boiled egg, thanks for gifting the sub to Fussmucker there. So Fussmucker, boiled egg, thank you guys. Pops Don Gory was in the
Coyotes
chat.
blanked the Red Wings. Oh my God,
Yeah.
Red Wings are trying to make the playoffs. Oh,
4-0.
And then
John, your Avalanche in overtime over the Wild.
well, the
And-
Wild at least got the charity point, and then Stars, that's normal. And
Chris
Jets.
Tanev with the goal. And the Jets 2-0 over the Kraken with less than 8 minutes left to go.
Well, Kraken
All right,
are not
gang.
following the script. They traded Weinberg. They were supposed to win.
All right, this has been the trade deadline analysis show. We'll be back on the 18th. Thank you guys for watching. Panel, thank you as always for your contributions to the show. We'll see you next time on the Black Aces podcast.
See you.
Later.